All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Market Close. It is Tuesday, October 7th. We are live. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We've got a ton of stuff going on as we get into the close. At 4 p.m., Jensen is going to be on CNBC. So we're going to be trying to see what Mr. Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, has to say. And we'll get some updates from there at around 4:20, 4:30. As soon as Jensen is done, we will get into Technical Tuesday with Jason. And so we will get into all the technicals of different stocks that we've got to look at. But we've got a couple updates. One was big today with Oracle, and we'll definitely analyze what went on there. It kind of created the pain that you saw in the market intraday, which has slightly recovered for a variety of names. Some of those names still down. But the big one, before we get into everything, is TSLA. We have the announcement, folks. Tesla's official 10/7 announcement is two new cars, the Model 3 Standard and the Model Y Standard. The Model 3 Standard will cost $36,990, and the Model Y Standard will cost $39,990. So, first question we're going to do right here in the chat is, simply put, are you impressed by the new Tesla models? Look, at the end of the day, the elephant in the room is, and it's not it's not that much of an elephant because the stock is telling you how much the street doesn't like it, down about 3% right here. It's not that affordable, right? It's not that affordable. I mean, a lot of people were counting for 35,000 and less, and maybe that's a pipe dream to get 35,000 or less, or definitely 30,000 or less. If you have a specific state you live in that has a very friendly approach towards EVs, you're probably going to get it for lower than the sticker price that Tesla posted on their website, which is a good thing, right? But at the end of the day, the base model is not the most affordable. One could argue it's going to cannibalize the sales of the premium model because these models aren't even that different than the premium models, but they cost a little bit less. So maybe Tesla's margins don't necessarily go up or down. It just potentially doesn't lead to that much volume creation as per the logic behind the idea of launching affordable models in the first place. However, I will say, the range is pretty good, 320 miles on both of these things. So you're getting some decent range in the cars. It's not like you're getting, 150 miles. And based on whatever they're stripping out, for it to cost what it costs, which is slightly cheaper than the premium model, and still be able to keep the ranges, which are relatively the same, I don't think is the worst in the world. So that's the announcement. No event, no press release, no massive presentation. It's just, hey, here it is, Tesla Model 3, Model Y Standard. That's the sort of phrasing mechanism they're using here. And both of them will cost from $36,000 to $39,000. And that's what you got. Look, at the end of the day, that's what it is. The street is not impressed by this announcement. And, maybe you just needed a lot more for the street to get impressed. But Tesla right there, down 3.6%. Ultimately, over the next year, we're going to see if this actually leads to an incremental volume increase for Tesla. So until we get the data of new sales over the course of a year, I don't think we're gonna be able to say too much, but that was the announcement today. And there is no Archer partnership. There is no big Optimus unveil. There's no drone. There's, it's two new cars. There's no Roadster yet. It's just two new cars that are a little bit cheaper. Where is Archer? Oh, wow. Archer's down 8% on not partnering with Tesla. Who would have thought? I mean, I don't even mean to be, shady about it. It's just like the fact that they pumped this thing up 20% yesterday because some people thought Archer, because they posted an Optimus in one of their videos, meant that Archer was partnering with Tesla. When Archer was posting a recap of a summit they went to about American reindustrialization, where Tesla was at the summit as well. I mean, it's just some people took these rumors to such an extent. It's like, no, that wasn't going to happen. So Archer right there, down about 8% on the day. Tesla also down about 4%. And that is what you got. Yeah, I'm not even trying to be petty, bro. It's just like that's where people say the bull market becomes euphoric and stupid. When people see Archer post something that is very basic around Tesla and be like, yup, partnership. There you go. Buy it up 20%. It's like that stuff is where even I, as a market participant, start to think this is too much liquidity. Like, we need to raise these rates. What the hell's going on? People are gambling too much on this. So it looks like that's not happening. But Tesla right there, 436. That's down about 3.75% of the day. Again, not the best announcement for the bulls that were super excited about it, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, given the range is not as bad as what some people thought it was going to be. So that's what we have on Tesla. Now, the bigger story of the day is actually what happened with Oracle. The bigger story is what actually happened with Oracle. AMD right there, that is still up 4% on the day. IREN, by the way, went from 65 down to 55, back up to 61. 70 million shares have been traded of this thing today, which is kind of crazy because the average volume is only 40 million shares. So this one getting a lot of momentum based on the announcement this morning around the increase of their GPUs. And another company that had an announcement today, or that had reports come out today about it, 5% up on the VIX, and likely was caused by this one company, is Oracle. So what happened at the end of the market open? Oracle right here now only down 2% on the day. At one point, Oracle was down 7% on the day. Oracle was taking a pretty big beating. Well, the information reported that Oracle lost nearly $100 million from rentals from Blackwell chips in the most recent quarter. Oracle's gross profit margin from rentals of servers averaged 16% in the past year, and internal Oracle data showed the financial challenge of renting out NVIDIA chips. This was the headline that really caused some problems in regards to Oracle, and it kind of hurt all the AI names today because Oracle is one of the biggest AI names. Again, they reported 450% increase in remaining performance obligations from none other than OpenAI. So if Oracle's having some issues in regards to renting out GPUs, what's the issue? You got a lot of people start questioning it. Oracle comes out 20 minutes ago and says this report is stupid. It's way off base. It has no accuracy within the numbers, and essentially to not pay attention to it. So Oracle already came out and said this is not that big of a deal, and we don't know why people are freaking out about it. But if you go a little bit deeper into this and go into the weeds, it also has to do with the fact that Oracle has not really collected a ton of revenue from the GPUs that they're licensing out yet, but they're incurring the costs already, and that's also causing some pain on their margins.
The SMH chip ETF, we also often refer to it as a barometer. It's down about 1.5%, but it's primarily driven down by chip equipment names like ASML, Lam, and KLA, less to do with the Oracle story. But I want to point out, Oracle spent billions of dollars upfront on racks for NVIDIA chips, power, networking, before the revenue actually fully kicks in. And so those costs do hit the books immediately, while customer usage ramp does take some time. And so there could be some pressure on near-term margins. That's why Goldman Sachs and Mizuho are saying that this pullback that you're seeing in Oracle shares is a buying opportunity today. Oracle, too, keep in mind, is hosting an AI World Day next Tuesday and a Financial Analyst Day on Thursday. So I would 100% expect them to speak directly to this margin issue and the impact of buying more expensive NVIDIA chips, Scott.
All right, Christina.
So you got Oracle basically saying, hey, the numbers off this are way off, and it's not something that people should pay too much attention to. Again, they're going to have an investor day in about a week, so they're probably going to speak more intimately around this specific subject. They'll probably get questions about it. But number two is like, hey, there's a lot of costs associated with not only buying the GPUs, but setting them up in the servers before you license them out to generate reselling revenue. And those costs that they're incurring right now are probably hurting their margins. So whatever data that the information got, which it doesn't seem like they got it from Oracle, and the Oracle would probably not want this data out there in the first place, but whoever leaked this info to them either gave them the wrong data or just didn't really look at the nuances of the GPU reselling business in the first place. And as a result, I mean, again, was there a hedge fund that wanted this to get out there because they had a short or they wanted a dip to buy more shares of Oracle? Who knows? But it just doesn't seem like this was the core argument to break down the entire AI thesis. And it was framed like that earlier in the morning. It was like, oh, is this the thing that breaks the AI narrative? And it's like, probably not. That's probably not happening. So that was the big update of the day in regards to Oracle. Tesla was the other big story, but Tesla right here down about 4%. And it looks like the market continues to move forward. Grab, unfortunately, could not break above 660. Did try to get there, 629. That's down about 1.64% of the day at 630. Google, 245. That's down 1.8%. SoFi, great day, 6.6%. Student loans, potentially SoFi is going to be buying from the Trump administration that wants to sell a lot more. Crypto, we talked about yesterday with BitGo. So all those combined together and the general sort of rate cut thesis is good for SoFi. That went back at 28.13. Hoodie, hopefully ending green on the day, 144.96. Palantir at 182. Now, Palantir was at 188. A lot of these names were pushing even higher levels until that Oracle news came out and kind of reset the entire market and really gave a lot of the algos a reason to take these stocks down. But some of them starting to recover. AppLovin, 632. Not too bad if you bought the dip. That's up 6.3% or up 7.5%. Circle is up 0.5%. Bitcoin, unfortunately, has been kind of weak today. It went from a little bit more than kind of weak, 125 to 121. So you had a 4,000 candle down. Ethereum, 4,700 to 4,400. BMNR did touch 58. It's at 59. I think, if it closes above 59 or 60, that's not too bad of a close, but did not make its way above 65 like it did in the morning based on Ethereum taking a little bit of a dip. So you kind of had crypto not doing the best. Duolingo, that was flat. TFC, that was flat. IREN, again, great day. That's up 6.8%. BABA, that's down 3%. The VIX was actually up 5% for the first time in a long time. And so you had some of that volatility entering into the system. MicroStrategy, unfortunately, goes down 8% because of Bitcoin taking a bit of a hit. Netflix, I was actually texting with Jason about this. He's liking the chart on Netflix, and he's liking the rebound post the Elon controversy from last week. So when Jason gets on the show, we'll talk more about what he thinks around Netflix. But you got that one up 2.43% on the day, one of the green names in tech. This is the heat map for what we have as we get into the close. Kind of a mixed bag. Google, Microsoft, Meta red, Oracle red, Tesla red, Amazon slightly green, NVIDIA flat, Apple flat. All the semiconductor names you can see are red simply because of that Oracle news that just wasn't the best for those names. And then financials and consumer defensives got a little bit of a bid because semiconductors went red. And that was kind of the difference right here. Let me know in the chat what people bought or what people sold. I see a lot of people saying they bought the BMNR dip, so 65 to 58. Seems like that attracted some people to get into the dip. Again, TMQ, this is the Alaskan company that is going to be mining for metals. That's up 210% on the day. It was at $8, so now it's $6.50. Still up $4 on the day. Based on Trump not only taking a stake in the company, but reducing some of the regulations that the Biden era had in Alaska, which is good for that company, and that one's going green. And then NVIDIA right here at 185. I don't know exactly when Jensen's going to be on CNBC. They said around 4 p.m. It might happen at 4:05 to 4:10. So we'll keep an eye on it. And we'll see what he has to say. Also, Dell, which increased their financial projections today by double on the top and the bottom line. Dell saying, hey, we're not going to grow 4%. We're going to grow 8%. And we're not going to grow adjusted EPS by 8%. We're going to grow 15%. Really good stuff for Dell. That's up 3.4%. Michael Dell will be on as well. I don't know if he's going to be live with Jensen at the same time, but we're going to get to hear from both of them later today. See a lot of BMNRs. Oh, PayPal. Do we hold 75? PayPal is 74.50. 74.50, not bad. I see a bunch of people buying Rubrik. Rubrik took a dip today. I don't know why. Down 3.2. I didn't really see the headline for why. I got a little bit of recovery. Went to 77, now it's 79. We know Sam likes this one. That was that. And then Nebius. Nebius also. So again, Nebius and CoreWeave took a hit because of the Oracle news. Now Nebius took a deeper hit because of Oracle versus CoreWeave and sort of the main component of Nebius that was affected in terms of the perception of their margins being hit. But again, Nebius also ran a lot. So when a lot of these names get a bad headline that affects the entire sector, and they've run a lot, you're probably going to get a little bit more of an aggressive dip. So Nebius right there, 5.7% down on the day. And then Tesla down about 4.48%. That's what you got. That's what you got on a day like this. We got a lot to get into. We will have Technical Tuesday later today. We'll see what Jensen says in about 10 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It is 4 p.m. Tuesday, August 7th. The stock market is now closed. All right. There you go. We are done for the day. Did I say August 7th? Did I actually say August 7th? Really? Did it sound like August? Did my October sound like August? All right, I got to rewind and see if I said August 7th. But there you go. It's October 7th. Market is closed. Tesla, 433, ends down 4.3% on the day. Tesla is down 4.3%. NVIDIA, 185. That's down about 0.25%. The S&P 500, 669. They did lose 672. Tried to hold on to 672, but was not able to do that, especially after that Oracle news came out, which was the part that hurt the S&P. So there you go, 669 right there, down about 1/3% on the day. AMD actually was up 4%, not too bad. SOFI, 6.72%. I think that's pretty good for SOFI, especially after the past couple of days, which is not bad at all. Google down 1.8. Not sure what took Google down. It might have been that Oracle news. Grab right here down about 1.8%. Reddit was up 1.1. Amazon Prime Day apparently is starting for the next 3 days. I didn't even know they had another Prime Day, but that's happening now. Meta, 713. I did sell my 5 shares of Meta, so made like $90. And so those Salesforce, that's down about 2.7. PayPal, that was up 4.1. Elf down 1.6. Apple, flat on the day. SMCI, that was also flat. Bitcoin and Ethereum both took a little bit of a hit. Bitcoin right there at 121, and then Ethereum at 4,400. BMNR, did we get a $59 close? We got a $59.76 close for BMNR. Rocket Lab, by the way, 61.60. It hit 62 at one point. We celebrated 60 in the morning as it got to all-time highs. I don't really know what the catalyst was for this today. I mean, Rocket Lab has had a string of good news over the past couple of weeks, but this is pretty damn incredible seeing Rocket Lab get this momentum. Poet, this was another name in the semiconductor ecosystem. Wow, 24% day. Looks like that had some news that really helped it out. I'll see if I can get that news. But Poet, that was up 24%. And then ASTS, even with the $800 million offering today of dilution, it digested that and made a new all-time high. Got to 76, closed at 74.75. So if you're heavy in Rock Lab or ASTS, if you're heavy in the space industry, congratulations. I mean, I know a lot of you guys are just in both of them. And some of you guys may be more heavily allocated to the other, but I mean, both of these incredible performance on the day. Let's go to the stock draft. I think that probably put Matt in first place with Rock Lab and ASTS. Yep. So there you go. Matt's at 43.59 total return. I'm at 39.55. So now we're down below that 40%. Steve's at 7. Tanner's at 23.4. Chris is at 12.3. Matt is back in first place with Rock Lab and ASTS helping out the portfolio. They should call him Matty Stacks. Exactly. They should call him Matty Stacks. Erwin says Rocket Lab is trash. Shout out to Erwin. I know he's been a heavy component of the Rocket Lab thesis since this thing was like $5-7. It is kind of wild, bro. This thing was like $5-7 for a good year. Gave investors a lot of time to jump in. And, you know, is Rocket Lab expensive? I mean, when you look at the financials, yeah, I'm not going to lie. This definitely is an expensive name, but I haven't sold any of my Rocket Lab because I think of them as a smaller SpaceX. So if it goes down, it's whatever. If it goes up, I think eventually it grows into the valuation. But long-term, I think this one ends up doing good. 61.69 is what we got on Rocket Lab. I have not looked at Kraken Robotics, but I think 50 of you guys today have put in the chat to look at Kraken Robotics. I don't know what it is about that stock that is getting so many people excited about it. First of all, it's not even tradable on a regular exchange. It's OTC. Something about, like, what happened to make everyone so excited about Kraken Robotics? I've never even heard of this company. It's up 30% in the past 5 days. Kraken's a Canadian company. I've seen at least 50 people saying, please look at Kraken Robotics. I mean, I don't even buy OTC stocks in general. So we can do some due diligence on it, but it's one of those names that I don't know how accessible it's going to be to everybody. It's OTC, and there's a rumor it'll be acquired by Anduril. Okay, so are people really getting excited about it because of an Anduril rumor? Is that the reason? Yeah, Applied Digital is on Thursday. Applied Digital is on Thursday. Anyone who's looking deep into Kraken, do you think that's legit? They can get acquired by Anduril? I mean, kind of sounds like the Archer Tesla thing. If you just say that, oh, they'll get acquired. By the way, Anduril and Raytheon did complete a test today, and Palmer Luckey talked about their ability to work together as legacy defense contractors and modern defense contractors. But yeah, IREN dumping. Oh, what happened? What happened? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Okay, that's not even that bad, bro. 63 to 58, bro. You guys make it seem like it's the end of the world, bro. It's back to where it was in the morning. It's down 5% after hours. Goodness gracious, bro. Okay, how much is the dilution? How much is the dilution? Let's see. IREN convertible notes. What do we got? What's the amount? It's not a dump, though, guys. Come on. This is not a... I mean, yeah, 5% is 5%, but it's not as aggressive as I think. It's already kind of recovering a little bit. Look at that. It's already recovering a little bit. Look at that. Look at that green. Got all the way to 56, now back to 58. That just shows the resiliency of the stock. All right, how much money? No, we don't have a number. We just have IREN announces proposed convertible notes offering. Oh, one of the reasons it might be recovering is because there's not a number attached to the convertible note offering yet. I do see the press release for convertible note offering. I don't see a number. It makes sense for them to dilute. I mean, the stock has gone up 5x in 3 months. But what is the amount of dilution? 875 million. Oh, that's the number I'm seeing. It's not confirmed yet. 800. Yeah, you guys are seeing that? 875. 875 million convertible senior notes due 2031 with an initial purchaser option to purchase an additional 125 million, so up to $1 billion. up to $1 billion of dilution. Okay. I don't think that's that big of a deal. Stock's a $20 billion market cap. They've done very well for themselves over the past, in terms of actual progress and the actual stock price. So it makes sense to dilute, to be honest. Gold, by the way, still above 4,000, which is absolutely incredible. Jensen should be on, I think, in about 10 minutes. So we'll try to see what Mr. Jensen has to say. But there you go. IREN, 875 million convertible senior notes. I mean, it's a nothing burger, dude. The stock opened at 58 this morning, got to 63, came back down to 55, then made its way back to 61 on the close. Now it's at 58. So I wouldn't take this one too seriously. Bitmine does that every day. That's true, but Bitmine takes their dilution and they go buy Ethereum. These other companies have to go use this money to actually develop products and services that generate revenue long term. But nonetheless, right? Like it's just not something, if you're an IREN shareholder, you can be too upset about. A lot of these companies, yeah, rather small offering. A lot of NBIS, all these companies have diluted, and they've diluted in a very strategic way. This is when you dilute. You don't dilute in a bear market. You dilute in a bull market when there's appetite for people to even buy your shares in the first place. And then you do something strategic with that money, especially if the market's willing to give you all that money. I mean, even Grab grabbed it. Now, Grab did it at a 0% convertible notes. I thought it was very strategic, but they raised 1.5 billion. And I don't know what the hell they're going to do with that money, but they raised it and they have it now. So it's not the worst thing in the world. AMD right there, 3.8%. That's up on the day. And then SOFI, 28.11. That was also down on the day. Again, also, if you believe they're going to do something with that money, for example, acquire more GPUs or more land to be able to build data centers, then they should be diluting, right? Like they should be using the capital markets to advance their business. And if shareholders understand the value of the business, which I think most people that have followed IREN do, then you're not going to have shareholders that are going to be that upset. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Okay, let me get an update on Jensen. Again, they say 4 o'clock, but it might end up being a little bit later than that. Let me just see. Jensen. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't know if Jensen's actually going to be on, bro. Michael Dell is definitely coming on. Jensen, I'm not fully confirmed. It says Jensen's going to be on, but it don't look like it's fully confirmed. We're going to see. Michael Dell will be on, but potentially not Jensen. Jensen should be on, though. I will try to get confirmation on that, and then we'll keep going from there. But we will take a look at that. Dude, the amount of people saying, look at, is the Kraken robotics thesis really just Anduril's going to buy them? Because I can't imagine their financials are that phenomenal that people are going crazy over it. If it's really about Anduril, that just, quite frankly, it's just not that interesting to me. A potential acquisition play is like, okay, whatever. You know, we're also at the point of the year where I think we want to protect our gains. And in order to protect our gains, you can't take too many crazy risks towards the end of the year. And I kind of just feel like buying something just for the pure sake of it getting acquired is a little risky. And so we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see that plays out. IREN right here. Yeah, back to 59. Back to 59 as that screen. Applied Digital is on Thursday. Applied Digital is on Thursday. That is not today. All the earnings this week are starting on Thursday. Will not be happening today. Okay, let me confirm this news around Jensen. Give me 1 second. Let's take a look at what Liz Young had to say today about the markets, and then we will keep going from there.
There's a bubble and bubble talk.
Yes, and I think that is accurate. So right now, I mean, of course, we've had a long rally. Everything feels extended. It feels exciting. It feels euphoric. In reality, I still think that the euphoria can get even more euphoric before something has to actually turn.
Oh, so you're in the Paul Tudor Jones camp.
This is,
it's like, you know, it's starting to feel like 99, but it's more like October of 99 before you had the rollover in the spring of 2000, and the NASDAQ was like a double from that period on because you entered such a period of euphoria. As he said yesterday on Squawk Box, that's what this feels like to him too. But that implies that there's a lot more upside to this market, right? Two sides of this story.
It implies that there's more upside. It also, and I want to be careful, I'm not going to call a time in the 90s, because that also implies that it would be over in March, right? So I don't want to say that. I think that we are in a different market. We're in a different monetary policy regime, and we're in a different economy than we were in the 90s. So this could actually...
Okay, so quick update on the Jensen thing. I don't think we're getting an interview with him. Kramer did an interview with him for like the CNBC Investing Club. I don't think it's an actual live interview with Jensen. They kind of framed it like it was going to be. It's going to be an interview with Michael Dell, which we'll take a look at later. But yeah, I think the Jensen thing is going to be like bits and pieces of it, and eventually they'll release the whole thing. But I do not think it is a live interview. If it is, we'll go over to him. Jason will be on in a couple minutes, and we'll get into Technical Tuesday. And then if Jensen is live, we'll switch over and take a little bit of a break. But yeah, I don't think Jensen will be live, even though it sounded like he was live. But eventually we'll get some footage of him talking with Kramer, and we'll see what he has to say.
Actually go on even longer, especially because we've got companies with real earnings, we've got companies with real cash in order to spend, we've got companies with a lot stronger balance sheets and competitive positions. So I think that could lengthen it out. I do think it will get to a point where it makes even less sense than it might now to some investors, particularly value investors.
Eventually, right?
Eventually, yes. But this continues to be a friendly environment for a rally.
Okay.
We've got some speculative positioning that's net bearish, so there's still room to squeeze out.
Where do you think the next leg of this rally is going to come from?
Well, I think it has to come from some of that broadening out trade, which we've already seen lights of. I think that's important. It has to come from some of the smaller cap names. It has to come from some of the sectors that haven't led up until this point. Healthcare finally just perked up, and I think that's a good spot.
If all the activity is around AI and you, like PTJ, think that there's still a lot of upside left, a tremendous amount really, before things might go bad, isn't that the area that you want to ride up, as it's going to have this accelerant from here?
Sure. If we're talking about people putting new money to work or trying to add money right now, first of all, this is not a time when you abandon your winners. So I don't think we should be trying to take profits, selling out, taking a ton of risk off the table, but make sure that you're balanced. And I think that's what investors are already trying to do, is balance out their exposure and try to diversify even within some of those baskets. So that's why I've been talking about healthcare for so long. Diversify that growth out into biotech, into pharma.
So you think that area, which Jonathan Krinsky of BTIG, by the way, this week, which we mentioned, I think yesterday, finally said this looks legit.
Yeah.
Like this turn looks different this time.
Yeah.
You agree?
I do agree.
Why so?
But healthcare, to be honest, was in my outlook for the full year. So I've been pounding the table on healthcare for a while and have been wrong for most of the year until now.
All right, so why now?
So patience pays off. Well, why now? First of all, we've watched this rally run so far. So if you're anybody who's looking at valuations, trying to find a more attractive place to put your money, you have to look at the sectors that haven't run with it. Healthcare obviously is at the top of that list. Secondly, as I mentioned before, this is a growth market. I think it will continue to be a growth market. And
over value. You mean growth over value?
Right. And investors are going to continue to want growth, not value. So they're looking for opportunities and where to find that. And I think that healthcare is a great opportunity of where to find that. And if you compare it even to the late 90s, healthcare was one of the best sectors back then too. People don't talk about that very much, but we could have a repeat of that sort of thing.
All right, so Liz basically making a simple argument, which is, hey, the bull market is working. Rotation in the bull market is not a horrible thing to be part of, whether it's healthcare, biotech, small caps, financials. Everyone is obviously very exposed to tech. Tech has led the majority of this bull market, but it's okay to do a little bit of a rotation. And I think that's a fair point by Liz as well. Let me show you guys just two quick stats and then we'll get Jason on. And yeah, that is confirmed. Jensen, he did a recorded interview. It'll probably come out in clips later. We'll cover those clips tomorrow, but there's not going to be a live interview that's happening here. First off is crypto asset flows. Last week, 5.95 billion in net inflows across all crypto ETFs. The previous record was 4 billion. Or 4.8 billion. So this has increased the previous record by 1 billion. It obviously shows that risk on appetite is coming back. Ethereum saw 13.7 billion inflows, nearly triple last year's total year to date. And 1.4 or 3.5 billion last week came into the Bitcoin ETF. So we're seeing more and more momentum from a crypto perspective in these ETFs. And it's good because, you need to see those ETFs get some excitement if there's going to be a continued rally in crypto. Then I want to show you guys this. So shout out to Couch Investor. He posted this. This was a comparison of Paul Tudor Jones, who made a lot of headlines yesterday saying that it feels like 1999. Back in 2020, he did an interview with CNBC and he said it feels like 1999. So it's kind of interesting, are we in October of 1999, which means March 2026, this entire party is over? I personally don't think so, but anything is possible. But using the appeal to authority that says Paul Tudor Jones thinks that that's the case, given he thought that was the case back in January of 2020 as well, a lot of these hedge fund guys end up saying kind of the same thing. Given they experienced 1999, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be accurate. So as a result, not the craziest idea in the world, but you did see this happen 5 years ago, and now Paul Tudor Jones is saying the same thing right here. All right, having said that, let's get into Technical Tuesday. For those that care about TA on stocks, we're going to be trying to get through all the core names: NVIDIA, Tesla, Palantir, Hood, Robinhood, all the big ones. And then we will take audience requests. I'll put a Google Doc in the chat right here, and that Google Doc will be a pinned message. It'll keep track of all the names that we are looking at from a TA perspective. We'll be live for the next basically 3 hours going through TA. And we will get Mr. Asian Steve on the show. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Because it's Technical Tuesday, it is time to roll the intro. What's up?
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, sir.
Happy Technical Tuesday. That's today.
Dude, we got a bunch of all-time highs, 52-week highs. We got a lot of stuff happening here.
It was a funky day today. Not gonna lie. I think a lot of people probably opened up their brokerage, big grin, and then maybe even checked back later. It was like, what? What happened midday? Because it went a little dippy dip. It was a little sketchy there for a minute. And then, by the end of the day, it was looking better again. But here we are.
All right. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into.
Did you change your hair? Did you do something? Did you get a new light? You're very bright. Well, you're glowing today.
Yeah, well, the lights are bright, but I definitely changed my hair. That's
the hat.
Is the hat? Yeah. I think let's get started with Tesla. Let's start off with that as our first stock for the day. Well, guys, we'll do the first 10 core stocks or 15 core stocks, then we'll get into all the different.
Oh, we're going straight into it.
I think let's go straight into it. Yeah.
Didn't even get how's your week?
Well, I know how your week was. I know how your week was. Your week was winning because you're betting spreads on Robinhood, apparently, because you can do that on freaking prediction market.
Did he tell you guys? He sent me a football bet, but he forgot to ask me beforehand. Oh well, it was close. It was close.
I thought the Chiefs would win. They've won since 2009 with the Jaguars, and then they decide to lose. So.
That's true, but it's Monday Night Football. Shenanigans happen this week in the NFL. It's been a lot of underdogs coming back, and Monday Night Football. Jaguars don't get the opportunity to be in the limelight like that very often. The home game, quarterback's birthday.
No, but
crazy things have happened.
Jason traded some spread that they would win by 3.5 points, and he closed it early. He was doing all this complicated shit.
They wouldn't win by more than 3.5. It was like trading spreads in NFL is like selling covered calls. Basically, it's like it's basically like selling covered calls. They can win, but not by more than XYZs. And if the other team wins, then I still win also.
It's actually pretty exciting. It's actually pretty exciting. So. All right, Tesla, we got the announcement, some quote-unquote affordable cars. What are your thoughts on that? And then we'll get into the TA.
Yeah, so by the way, do you want to tell? So on the left-hand side of my screen.
Oh, yeah, we got it. We have a timer, guys. We got a timer.
This is a timer. We're going to do 5, maximum 5.
Can we get some W's in the chat? We finally got the timer. We'll put 5 minutes, and that will keep us on pace to get through as many tickers as possible. So there you go.
All right, reset starting. So this is TSLA. This is actually our old chart. I'm going to start just pretty high level. This is very old school, my targets, but we've been coming up really close on our, I mean, to me, this is like very, very close to prior all-time highs. This level right here, I think, is going to be crucial. And this is 414.50. Can you guys see everything? I think they can see the numbers. This is a daily chart, by the way, coming off of this major low. And just to say, we've had a nice run. Tesla's a very catalyst-driven stock. So from here, I think the question is going to be, what's the next catalyst? And in the stock market, it's always, what do I have to look forward to? So earnings are coming. That's at the end of October. Now that they've released that now that they've announced that they have a new version coming, I think that's kind of like today's candle, clearly, just from a daily perspective, looks like a sell the news kind of event. And 440, call it 5, is kind of like this prior trouble zone right over here. So seeing this somewhat back off today makes sense. That said, we're actually still in what I would say is this like more recent channel right here that Tesla's actually started to create sense breaking out through that 414 prior all-time high over here. This is actually 2021 all-time highs. So I'm making note of this level because I think it's very, very, very important. So it's 414.50. That is the crucial, critical support that you don't want to see Tesla lose. Also, happens to be kind of like the most interesting level. If you see Tesla get close to that, then it actually does get kind of interesting. And so right here, that's very nearly where this tagged previously. And I'm going to start dropping down into some smaller time frames here. Right now, this is pretty much exactly that block. And this is that prior break of structure right here that we are leaning into. I'm going to take this 442.50 off. That comes from this area over here, 415. So for a lot of different reasons, whether it's this area here, that was obviously a pivot that we don't want to lose. You don't want to see Tesla lose. That can get kind of ugly. And obviously 2021 all-time high. 415 it becomes that critical pivot. And if it does lose that in short order, what I will say that I don't have on this chart is that it can get kind of nasty. But even still, a nasty dip is possibly buyable. But what that means is that the buyable dips are closer to this 420, call it 425 in this blue channel down here. And if it does lose that, well, what we have is a very low volume pocket.
Has it already broken a trend in your opinion or no?
No. So what I'm pointing out is that this is the current trend right here. And it's actually just at the very bottom of that. You're still in it. But if it does break it, it's going to be confirmed below 415. And then it can get real ugly real fast. And we can get sucked into this low volume pocket, if you will. And that would actually create this kind of a like consolidation where you're back in. But until that happens, look, we're pretty far away from that happening. Until that happens, this area remains support. And this is your near-term buy zone around 415 from a trading perspective. Otherwise, your deep value is in 370s. That's it.
That's right. No, I would agree.
And even at 370s, that this is the prevailing trend.
Yeah.
Which I think is the point to say that we're pretty far away from the prevailing uptrend. So even if it comes down deep, the prevailing trend is actually still intact.
Yeah, that is fair. SOFI.
See that timer reset?
Dude, it's not
SOFI.
bad.
SOFI, actually, so similar story. We went through this last week, and it was right at the very bottom of that channel support, and fundamentals always supersede technicals, as we kind of have like gone over. But the fundamental story actually changed recently. So I think that also kind of bounces right off of that area. So 24.5 was that 24 was that prior support area. We didn't quite get there. Close enough, 25. But what was also true was that on a monthly perspective, what we did say was that if it was over 26.21 in the month of October, what was going to happen? Well, if it was over 26.61 in the month of October, then this uptrend is back fully intact. And here we are. And in that event, oops, sorry, wrong way. In that event, then your extension, if it can actually break through $30.30, would be into this 34.5 type area. And I'll break this down at a smaller time frame, what that looks like. So the channel, if you will, is this. And it was just literally at the itty bitty bottom of this channel. Let me get this box out. And right off the 50-day simple moving average. Today, after student loan news and things like that, we're actually well over the 20 again. But right off this was the 50-day simple moving average. That's the blue line right here. I can take some of these old lines off as well. And this is what's this from? Oh, I think this is a really old extension. Oh, this is a very old extension from way over here. And this full-blown consolidation. I don't need that. But yeah, we're back in the channel. If SOFI can get through this one last little, what I'm going to call center line right here of the existing kind of channel that it kind of just popped its head over. Here, you remember this exercise when you go where the bears are hanging?
Yeah.
So you're at the 50% mark of this bearish retracement from this, what we call this a swing high to swing low. As long as it holds 27.85, well, I already hit it this morning, then 28.75 is in the cards. And if it can, for whatever reason, clear essentially this level right here, then for sure, I mean, I say for sure, it's kind of obvious to me that 29.80s just underneath that prior all-time high is intact, but you're definitely going just likely to the top of this channel again, and you're going to start chopping through, which really takes you ultimately to this just under 35 next higher high type level for the next stop.
I think there's a little bit of an echo, Jason, on your side. When I speak, I think they can hear me. Yeah. Okay, that's better. Perfect. Yeah. I was saying, I think 35 lines up with the fundamentals as well. If we get another 40% quarter, I think a lot of people are estimating that 30 to 35 range is juicy.
Okay. Test.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, cool. The lab of rockets, all-time highs.
The lab of rockets. Neutron to all-time highs, man. Oh. So, yeah. Again, got the same kind of thing. That orange line, that's what we need to see, 55 and change. And there it is. I think it was 50.91, actually, that we were talking about, because we weren't talking about necessarily September's monthly candle, but really August. And that is exactly what you wanted to see. So the second it was over 50.92, to me, that's kind of when you knew. I think I actually bought some more when that happens, just equity, not options or anything. And when I drop down into a smaller chart, you can see it right here. This thing has been such a crazy, I mean, some of these lines we have are from our technical Tuesdays at $16. Do you remember this?
I remember.
$16 from us charting this. That's not even that long ago. And we're talking about 61. This is a full week completely over. Wow. That's strong. All right. So at this point, I think what we need to do is just kind of like when you're in, you know, brand new all-time high territory, you have to use what we call extensions. And what it is, it's really just taking, it's like the box, right? Like what's the prior box consolidation here? And these green lines up here end up being multiples of that consolidation. And so in this little area here, what that is, that's about half of this initial consolidation. And right here, it's 68, 62. That's doubling basically this box right here. That's all a fib is. That's literally it. So right now you're about that first halfway point. I would expect a little bit of a breather at this point. And then the extension is after 63.30, depending on how this goes. The next level is 68, 62. There's two more levels that are way up here. I don't really want to say that out loud, but that's got an 8 handle in front of it.
80?
It's 83.80. I guess it's Rocket Lab, but let's just do one thing real quick before we go there. Let's say you're not here. What I want to do is kind of say, all right, if I wanted to load up, where would a good spot be if we do get a pullback? Yeah, I'm actually getting a really good confirmation here. Exactly retesting 50% pullback. Pathing. This is a 50% pullback from this move. This would be like a grab type pullback. If Rocket Lab does a little something like this, that would actually also be perfectly healthy. So that's to say, if this does pull back and retest, this retest of this breakout zone is right underneath 54, in between 54 to 52. That is what we would call a golden retrace. That's your hot zone. Assuming the fundamentals stay the same, if the technicals are just completely overheated and for whatever reason people decide to, take extra, this is where the next tranche of buyers are actually going to be sitting, literally right here. And it's funny, you can see it because this is where they sold last. Anybody that sold in here after it's broken out, if it comes back, oh yeah, you betcha they're going to be buying it back for sure. Or you think about it this way: if anybody was shorting the stock right here, and they have an opportunity to cover their shorts, which means buy it back, because if they shorted the stock here and they shorted the stock here, now they're very much underwater. If they have an opportunity to cover their short, which means buy the stock, they're going to do that at as close to break even as possible. And that's exactly right here, just under 54. So I would expect that to be future support if for whatever reason you get that opportunity to see it.
Okay. I love it. Robin Hoodie. Dude, you guys admit such a party pooper, by the way. I was like, are we buying this? I'm not a part. He said, hey, are we buying the hood dip? And I'm like, no, we're not buying the hood dip. 150 to 145 is not a dip. We're not buying it.
Why not? Why not?
You could buy the dip. Go ahead.
I thought about it, actually. So this is the channel that Hoodie's been in since April. Actually, I haven't actually pushed this out, but just here, I'll make it so So you can see it. Looks a little bit like that. So upper bound of the channel, lower bound of the channel. Looks like that.
By the way, guys, real quick, Joby, 500 million dilution. So that's why that stock's down 5%.
Oh. So the center line is this dashed line right here. For whatever reason, Amit thinks he's going to get it at the bottom of that channel. I don't know. I think that what happens when you have a really hot stock with a really unique situation like Robinhood coming into this November earnings, early November's, is that people don't know how to value what's about to happen in this next report. And so initially, and from our sessions, by the way, I think we had really kind of called out these couple runs up into the 150 level. So upside target acquired from a trading perspective, check that box off. We're going to do that Unity software in a little bit. Super chat, tech, pin that one.
Jason likes Unity, so we'll talk about that.
So that's an upside target acquired, which means that, okay, cool. This should rest at least for a little bit. Now, what we're doing is we're actually retesting this next kind of level here. It doesn't mean it's going to come down. It just means rest. And to me, actually, I think like one right here, I would like it to go sideways for a couple more days and actually kind of just tag this center channel here. And then I would like for Amit to be realize that he's just being very greedy, wanting 130, and watch it go right by him and go up for another leg. But that's just me. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. But that's actually exactly what this is setting up for, which puts this around 140 which is pretty much what we got today. Although I think it deserves a bit of a rest period. So back to my original point, and I'm running out of time here. I got about 2 minutes left on my timer that's glaring at me. November 5th, we get a run up into earnings. I think the market gets a little excited as normal. We're going to get some kind of a little sell-off, which is possible. Do we see 130? I don't know. But right before earnings, they're going to be like, oh crap, I need more. And because what's also true is that nobody knows how much money Hood's about to like print here, because we all agree that it's quite a bit. I don't think there's any way that you can not see that. So there'll be another little ramp of FOMO before the earnings, which is going to be in about 2 weeks. So I think you have about a week of digestion sideways to maybe slightly down, and then another run right before earnings. That's my gut. If for whatever reason you do see around that 230, that does fit with some kind of a pullback. If I measure this from that last breakout period, swing low to swing high, it's about 137 to 133. Still, he misses the mark. And at best, it would be 132.
I mean, look, if it gets all the way down to 132-ish, yeah, I'd probably buy it. But I just don't want to buy it
all of a sudden.
But like, because it's $2, whatever. But like 145, I feel like I'm being too aggressive here. Like, this is not.
I'm giving you a hard time, man. I don't care. I'm just messing. We both love the stock. That's all I know. But we both have a lot, and it's just like, at this point, I think it is a good opportunity still to diversify also. It's not the only stock that I want to own at this point in time.
Agreed. Palantir.
Palantir. Ooh, I'm yelling this. My voice is getting wrecked so fast.
Yo, put in the chat if you're liking the flow of this. I think it's going really well with the timer, but put in the chat if this is way better than us not having the 5 minutes. But I think it's going good.
Okay, so Palantir still stuck. What's good here is it's not going down. I think you got a lot of dip buyers This is sideways.
Oh, Jason, you got to press the timer. There you go.
Sorry. I reset it. I just didn't press it again. This is still like exactly where it was. So something's gearing up for a move. But at this point, we're about 20 days sideways. It's a no touch. When a stock goes sideways for this long, though, this is about the point in time where I would stop selling covered calls, actually, or cash secured puts, because let's see, because Palantir usually about 20 days, and then right here about 28 days, 20, 30 days, and then it starts to make a move. So this is getting ready to make another move. In what direction? That's actually TBD still. What I can say here is that the breakout's not, I mean, the breakout's obvious. I keep saying it's obvious. The breakout's going to be over 190. It's flirting with this high. How many times? Let's see. So this is an all-time high. So for Palantir to really break out here, I think it's possible that it could take a couple shots. So maybe it takes a few shots and it consolidates up here. Let's see this. What we could do is say there's been a trajectory here. If I kind of connect these lower wicks. Yeah, I can see this. Can you guys see this? So if this develops as a higher consolidation, because this is getting like it's popping up. And if it just keeps going sideways for a little bit, that means that the dips are going to be, every low is getting consecutively higher, higher low. But the difference here is that the highs are not getting higher. So still sellers. There's a big giant wall. I don't know if Amit knows how many shares are waiting to be sold up there, but there's a wall of sellers that are resting, probably a resting order, that every time that Palantir runs up into this, it's getting chewed into. And that wall is probably getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So in the meantime, as Palantir kind of like bounces up off this trend line, it's going to be like boom, 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 until it busts through the wall. If that happens, this is what that chart's going to look like.
That takes you to 200.
How many?
200, right? That takes you to
around 190 is the resistance. 189 or so.
Right.
So that's where the wall is. I don't know how many shares are resting up there to be sold. But
that's also all-time highs, right? So that's psychologically breaking through that will be
right.
important.
So what's important here is to note that as long as this kind of this dotted line here can hold a support and it doesn't pull an Amazon, which we can probably look at in a little bit, if the support is not a hard line, right? As long as this trampoline of support holds and it just doesn't like break through, that's okay. But you don't want to have it broken through. And as long as the fundamental story stays intact, again, you're good to go. I think we're probably good because I didn't start that timer on this one. And then I don't have this on here, but if it does, then this entire zone becomes consolidation. And I think I said this last week, but I believe it's around 220 or so. Yeah, 215. Yeah, that would look like this, with this being that first target around 215.
There was a lot of option call buying for the 190 call today. So your coiled up consolidation thesis, maybe that results in a move to the upside if we got a good catalyst as well.
Yeah, and this is kind of what this dotted line is what you would want to see.
Okay, before the S&P, let's do BMNR. What are you thinking about this one?
So BMNR, We actually charted this like exactly last week to the penny almost. So this one, we had the session gap. It actually went through. Usually these first breaks of like start. Sorry, this is you gotta remember to start the clock. Usually these first breaks of consolidation are actually not the initial buys. Usually like when a stock kind of pops out of a, there's a lot of lines on this chart. I don't know if they can see this. This is probably my chart, sorry. Here, that's probably better. So if this is that prevailing kind of downtrend, when the first look above a downtrend like this is, it's actually not one that you typically want to press a net new long, press a new bet. You usually want to be in right around here, which is exactly kind of these little arrows or where we've outlined the new longs to be. Here in these areas, on the lower end of this is that broader consolidation. And so what this lines up as is that where these green arrows are, if for right now, I think you stay exactly as is and you don't do anything here. But if you get the opportunity, there's a possibility that if the broader Bitcoin kind of ecosystem continues, well, you have another possibility to continue to DCA or continue to add. And that would be closer to 53 along the support channel, which is down here. So I still don't want to take I don't want to buy at resistance, which is exactly what this would be doing. When you're trading, you want to buy at support. You don't want to be buying at, it sounds like a simple concept, but you want to buy at support. You don't want to buy at resistance. And that's exactly what buying here would be doing. What you would be doing is buying at resistance. That's not ideal. Best case scenario is that right here, right now, this little itty bitty blip on the radar ends up acting as support, but that is insanely weak support. I really don't think that's going to be anything of anything. Maybe it is, but it's not enough to be any kind of convincing. I think if you got it as, around the 48s, that was the last good spot from a risk reward perspective. If not, around the 40s. The next one, if you see it, is going to be around 53, which is going to line up to roughly this level right in here. From here, which was August 19th, and this same area, congestion area, early September.
Yeah, and low 50s has a lot of buyers. I also think ETH would have to get to that like 4,200 level if we get there. So,
yep,
I think that I agree. That wouldn't.
Otherwise, stay the course, right? It's it's not something I'm like. It's not a short. It's just like this is still working out a consolidation. It's not a. Like I was saying, you don't want to go long at resistance. You don't want to buy at resistance. You want to buy at support. It's just not, it's at resistance. Could it break out? It could, like it tried, but it's not the best risk reward from a trading perspective.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Okay, let's do S&P and then we'll get into some more tickers. This stat right here, September U.S. equity options volume reached 378 million in the NASDAQ as per September. That's up 42% year over year. That goes to show that people are ready to trade, especially in the options market. A lot of those options probably on the S&P as well.
Dude, what is this chart that I'm using? Has all kinds of stuff on it. Holy moly.
How can you chart dilution? That's a good question. We'll do Netflix tomorrow, guys. Jason likes Netflix, so we'll talk about that in a bit.
Well, I mean, So we didn't get non-farm payrolls this week, and I don't know if I get to talk a little bit more on this one, but the market, I think, is operating off of ADP, which if we do that, ADP data came in light. ADP is here and here. So that would essentially be retesting quite literally today. Again, 669. So you'd want to see today's kind of low end up holding. If for whatever reason it doesn't, you could see a pullback into the 660s. But for all intents and purposes, right now, this is the first of the month, October. And I'm using a 4-hour chart right now. And I'm also using pre-market data. Again, in the absence of an NFP number, the market has two things to work off of: September NFP and ADP, which we got on October 1st in the pre-market. So it's from the moment that the market gets the data to the close of that day, and that's this box right here. So we've been trending over that 669.37. We'd open above, close below today. It's basically a retest. If tomorrow we open below entirely and then start to trend down intraday, that's when it would start to look ugly. And then in that event, I would say, okay, then we'd start looking at basically a retracement really into 665, which would actually line up to our 20-day simple moving average, which is this gray line right here, and a retest of about really this volume shelf right here, this prior consolidation right in here for right now. We'll call this a price.
Do you think 660 to 670 is like healthy to consolidate in for the coming weeks and not blast off to like 6,800 or something?
That would be completely typical. That would be exactly typical. That's literally just Friday's range, that's Wednesday's range.
Yeah.
That's literally just a single day's range. That's 1 day's candle. Believe it or not, that's literally that's ADP day. So that's when we got ADP data to the close of that day. It's a single day session. And that's normal until we get NFP data. So I know it looks like a lot on the chart, but it's really not. And to chop in this zone, very typical. Again, if I use kind of historical data and we look at how that works in the past, I mean, this is exactly what that looks like right here, where we do stuff like that for sometimes weeks on end. Not usually like that, but well, I say not usually. It really happens a lot, but we don't like to see it. It's just not fun when it happens. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 days. It can, but it's not usually long-lived. We just need to have a couple like clean days out over that 670 level, which for all intents and purposes, we spent most of the week over. 1, 2, we've had 2 full days over. So we have not even come close to the lows. 660 technically is the low of the month if you count October 1st pre-market, and that's pretty far away. But that was just last Wednesday. So this should be, this should be a retest right now.
I would imagine you think iron condors then are good in this choppy range.
I actually don't think we're chopping right now. I think this is just a retest, and I think that the trend is still on. Tomorrow will be the real telltale sign, depending on like what happens. But there's some divergence in the market we're a little bit over time, but there's some divergence in the market where certain moments of the day, like the Qs were stronger than SPY, other moments like SPY's catching up and then Qs. So we'll have to see how the whole thing comes about. At the end of the day too, we're still going to get NFP at some point. And then after that, and then in a couple weeks, literally the week after next, it's earnings season.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, even when we get the data, are we really going to care that much? Probably not, because earnings is right around the corner. I mean, literally right around the corner.
Agreed. NVDA.
All right, so NVDA, this is our breakout, 184. This is broken out, but it did not reach any target yet. AMD happened, which was amazing, by the way, for anybody.
You got to press the timer.
Congratulations for anybody who caught this AMD move. My goodness. What a holy camole, which kind of put a bit of a kibosh on the NVIDIA move that was actually in progress at the same time. So the breakout for NVIDIA was over 184.11. It's not breaking out anymore. It's basically just kind of retesting that same breakout level. It just kind of like slowed that momentum. So as long as this is still holding, I think what you're going to do is you're going to use a secondary level here. That's 187.35. So you want to see NVIDIA kind of base at this point. It's obviously going sideways, but you want to see a secondary confirmation, which is last Tuesday's high of 187.50. And that's a different pivot right here that will give you that secondary confirmation to say, okay, yeah, we're still in the works for this guy right over here. In the meantime, these levels right here, this is just this more recent kind of channel up. This is the whole broad, whatever you want to call, base that NVIDIA has formed to break out of that channel or break out of that consolidation. If it doesn't, a pullback, like a very basic pullback, two levels of or a handful of confluence here for NVIDIA. One, you have your 20-day and 50-day simple moving averages right around 180. Two, you have this prevailing uptrend or more recent uptrend here, also confirming right around 180. So one confluence, two confluence, and the third level of confluence is from this most recent breakout swing low here, swing high here, a 50% drawdown of that, or what we call a golden pocket retracement, is actually going to be right again at 180. So that's three. If you want a fourth from a volume shelf and like order block type of confluence, point of control is going to line you up for a fourth level, 180. So just underneath 180, you have multiple levels of confluence for a better dip buy, but this is perfectly fine. Again, it's like Amit not wanting to buy Hood at 145. He'd rather wait for 130. Is he being greedy? I don't know. He's just being patient.
So 170 is your buy target? I mean,
it's under 182, in between 182 and 179.98. So as close to 180 as you can. Tomato, but as close to 180 as you can.
Okay, well, the next one after NVIDIA, this one had a big day, AMD.
So, dude, I looked in our server, in our group, in our private group, and the amount...
Reset timer.
The amount of profit that I just saw just flying through the profit channel was just like,
dude, there were people that literally doubled their accounts yesterday on AMD.
Oh my God. I mean, life-changing money.
Yeah.
It literally brought a tear to my eye, dude. Like, for real.
Did you legit cry?
Yeah. A little bit.
No, but that's cool, bro, because
I mean, because like, dude, you work so hard. Because like, that's what it's about, man. Like, this is what it's about. Like, to see people have like actual achievements in, dude. That's all we do it for. It's literally it. But anyways, 162 and change or whatever. Like what we were talking about, I made fun of AMD, like being like, all right, so they're not getting excited over 162, but if it was going to be over 162 and change, we know that that it's going to be ready to go. And until then, all the AMD investors were being cheap, right? They wanted a better discount around 150 or so. That's literally what I said. The cool thing here is that on Wednesday the 1st, before the whole announcement, AMD closed the day 164.50. And then it actually went up, and then it had a pullback all the way back down, retested that exact same breakout before the announcement. And literally, look at this, dude. Up ski, down ski, retest. That's TA. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That
is pretty freaking crazy.
No, that wasn't like
some people knew. There was a lot of OTM calls that were bought last Friday, so someone definitely had an idea.
Look, so here's where we are.
Maybe because of TA, or maybe because they knew someone who was writing the Wall Street Journal article.
Yeah. So as far as extensions are concerned, so again, we do the same exercise. I mean, just an insane announcement. When I saw this thing in the pre-market, I was like, I thought I was like, is this real life? Like, I'm looking at the ticker tape. It's like up 35 something percent. I'm like, no, no way. Almost 40%. I'm like, is that?
Bro,
no.
I just want one moment in my life where I buy short dated options and I make 30x on my money in a week. Like, I just want that to happen once in my life. I don't know if it'll ever happen in my life, but I want to turn 10,000 into like 100,000 in a week.
Oh, dude, you just need to come and join the group. What to tell you?
That was a good plug. A good plug. But no, but seriously, like people who bought 190 OTM calls, they turned 45,000 to $1 million yesterday. Like,
wow,
it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. That's all I can say is they did. Like, it's
okay,
yeah,
so
a lot of life-changing money happened.
Do you think 230 is in play? That's the all-time highs, or do you think it kind of settles back into the low 200s?
So if you check my screen, 205.37. We do this all the time. It's no different than any of the rest. This was the extension. It's literally right here. It's wild how it always works out the same. It's got to hold 205.37. Sure enough, it did. As long as now over 210.98, it's closing there right now. The next level, 224. If it closes over that, you're right into this 245 area. And there she is. Do I have anything higher? The only thing higher than that is 261. But, you know, I guess I would have to do this again. And I'm not really getting it. It's really just kind of pointing me back to the 240 area as a secondary level. So, yeah, it would be a real press over 210 that I could see another leg into the 240s, which for all, dude, that's a lot by itself. In the meantime, pullbacks, yeah, it would be a 187, odd number. And if we take this, yep, I got a lot of confluence. Well, that's a golden kind of retrace right there. 185 was that breakout. if that does happen, it's going to happen below 205. So you would need to see this, and then this is your base. But I would expect a longer base. Again, similar to how long this base was, 45 days of sideways action. But, you know, when AMD decides to go, she's just a monster in either direction, whether it's AMD, automatic money destroyer, or not, you know, in one way or the other. Right
So
now, she's no longer the money destroyer that people remember her.
So dip buys at 180 and above 220, you think blue
185.
185. Okay. Meta, what's going on with this one?
Meta, well, I took one shot and it wasn't working. He said the wrong words.
Who, Zux?
Yeah, so it will be out of the muck when it's over 730 and change, like 735, which sucks because that's kind of far away. So I'm in no rush for this one. The channel's pretty deep, slow and steady downtrend right here. You know, it's not making new lows as of today. What's true? When I took a shot long at 750, if Meta was gonna turn around, it was gonna be right there, right? And if it didn't turn around right there, then the downside target, I don't know if you remember this, then the downside target was gonna be 690 was my downside target right here, 691. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and we touched it on yesterday.
Yeah, so that's also very true. So this downside target acquired. So you can't really it doesn't make sense to press a short-sided bet here either. So what does make sense is for this to kind of breathe. And here's the downtrend. If it goes sideways a little bit longer, cool. 721.91 is a pretty big pivot, but my caution personally, because I am watching this, is that even if I do get a small move here, and Meta is a fickle stock, I'll say that, is that at that 735-ish level, I'm still in a lot of harm's way because I have all of this, what we call this overhead supply. So anybody really that bought here or bought here, I don't know really if these two cohorts of stock buyers are going to buy again, or if they're going to sell on me the second that it gets here. Because if these groups of buyers are going to sell on me here, I could be in for a world of hurt. And that's my biggest concern if by buying it here now. So that's why I was saying.
I agree. It's like if the earnings picture misses or Zux continues to spend and the street doesn't like it, that 690 gets to 670 real quick, right?
Yeah. And it could look, and the thing is that you could pick this up and it could look really good for a couple days, and then it could look really bad, like boom, like instantly. And I won't, you know, if you have too many positions, you won't really know until it's too late, because it's not going to be like a core position for me anyway. I slice it. I don't think, at least not here. I do like the company, and I think you could have. I think it deserves a spot very long term, but I think long term means like 5 to 10 years long. So from that perspective, with that type of time frame, for sure, I don't think it matters. But you'd have to be willing to buy a lot more, a lot lower if that happens also, just to let compounding do its job. But yeah, I think, that's my biggest concern. And because of that, it's got to get over that 730, I'd call it about 37 level to actually be back in an uptrend. And until then, until then, yes, 690 was interesting, but it hasn't done enough. Yeah, it would be 635, which seems like, no, that seems like too crazy.
I feel like 650 is not unreasonable. Or at least
I feel like 650 is arbitrary though, which is the other thing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So because of that, I needed to go sideways for a little bit more, and I need to at least like put it in the shelf, or shelf the idea for a second, and let it show me some new support levels, because this is interesting. The 200-day is about 665. 660 has some levels to it, but yeah, I don't want to just throw an arbitrary number out otherwise.
Amazon.
So Amazon, I said it would either be 225 or 210 for me. I'm going to change my tune on this, and I'm starting to nibble at it already. I kind of changed my tune. I still will state that it's not going to be ready. Either I get a 210 pickup.
You gotta hit the timer.
I still either get a 210 pickup as a better discount, or it's over 225 and I'm in the clear entirely. But what's changing my kind of outlook here is, one, I think the trial stuff is over at this point. Two, now we have catalysts, but really it's this attempt at this reminded me of like Rocket Lab, where I was just like, the attempt by the bears to take this down was like, I started laughing. I was like, okay, they should have been able to do this. I should have gotten my 210, because I'll tell you, I was waiting for my 210 and it never came, man. It never came. And the 3 mornings when this thing started to get even close, it was just like instantly bought up, boom, kaboom, boom, boom. And I'm like, really, guys, just let me get my and no, to me. And so the bears just can't execute. These bears suck. Like bad. And so, but anyways, there is confluence here. This whole gray box, there's a pretty big pivot long term. And it is just over the 200-day simple moving average. Unlike Meta, Amazon, I think as we get closer to earnings season, it will become painfully obvious that, hey, look, they are the largest cloud provider, period, end of story. And you don't really want to miss that. They had great earnings last time. Plus, as we get closer to the end of the year, we're closer to the holiday season. Now that we have this odd Prime Day event, I think that becomes a thing. And yeah, the inability for the bears to execute here, I just started nibbling. If they do, still, again, if the bears can pull this off and show me a 210, that's where I feel more comfortable getting bigger, and I'll have a bigger size. For now, this is where I am, but I think that I might just be pulling in a mitt and getting a little greedy, trying to wait for my 210, because it might not come. And in the meantime, I think this is still, from a weekly perspective, and I'll take some of these lines off. From a weekly perspective, we're still fully intact. Just a little bit of a double top coming off this 200-day simple moving average for actually a broader kind of move up and out of that. And what these lines are, are twofold. One, this area here is a bullish retracement that we're sitting on. So I'm going to take that off. 227 becomes that bearish retracement as a first upside target, and then 230 as a second upside target. So why do I have that is because once that's over 227, yeah, we're on and cracking, but we're a bit far away from that. And in the meantime, if this does go, then a breakout of this consolidation.
Would you buy equity here or options?
That depends on your time. It always depends on how long you intend to hold something. So depending on how long you want to hold this, depends on how you decide to trade it. Or like if you're talking investment horizon, or it depends on the person and how long you want to own this thing. I would say, like, again, near term, it's in the 230s to possibly 240s, just to the top of this consolidation. And then post earnings, I think this has a potential of breaking out into next year, into this 275 type area next year. So if you're not looking for this, this is not, that's equity or some kind of leaps. That's 25%, give or take.
Okay. This one's not in the main stocks, but I do think it deserves a 5 minutes here. PayPal. Do you think there's somewhat of a breakout?
Did you see my post? Was it a troll post? I don't know.
You posted about them? I didn't see. Oh, this one. Wow, you're long. Okay, Jason's in. Jason's in, folks. $100. There you
go. So, I mean, like everybody else, I was just getting slammed with a lot of questions, and technically, it's right there. So, is PayPal the money destroyer that it has been? I don't know. Is it deep value? Of course it's deep value. It's always been deep value. It's been deep value forever. We need ROI if you're going to have it. Look, PayPal's been deep value at 100. PayPal's been deep value at 150. 3-year base. Yeah, for sure. You got it all. It's all there. Is it peeking its head over this little trend line? Actually, yes, it is as well. Is it all just possibly a pre-earnings run-up? Very much a very strong possibility of this just being a pre-earnings run-up type play. So ultra speculative, no question. Is there a fundamental story? Listen, if you guys know something that I don't in terms of the fundamental story, sure, maybe. What I can say from a chart perspective is that this probably has a date somewhere around 75, 76 right now, where it usually gets stuffed right in here. 75, 76. All of this stuffing right before earnings. And really, maybe 78. And that is just based on this little trend. So if it can get there in short order, maybe some like what I call like the MEEPs, the micro leaps, the mini leaps, the 6 and 9 month calls, filling this what we call fair value or low volume pocket, could do pretty well. And then I could use those as the basis of a calendar spread. I'm sorry, I'm in the weeds now. But then I could use those and convert them into a spread and have a free ride through earnings. Actually, that was my logic. And so if that happens, I'm probably going to get stuck around this purple line is a 200-week simple moving average. Do we get slapped there and come all the way back to? I have no idea. Zero clue. But what I can say, if it holds in that box, it should actually take a breather, and that would be a bullish breather. And then here is the base. But you see from this, again, same exercise we do all the time. Swing high, swing low. Why today mattered, not just for this broken downtrend. 74.83 is that halfway point. That's the point where the bears start to cover, blah, 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 blah. And it gives you a straight shot target really into that just sub 80 mark in usually pretty short order, which it's done nearly every time that it's that we've seen this. I mean, nearly every time. So that's what I can see right now, right? Especially with some of the social momentum, which it does have. Now, does it continue on from there? That I don't know. I think that's TBD. But I think that's fair from a technical perspective. If it's going to continue from there, it's got to get well over 81 here, and that's probably going to have to be something fundamental, and it's probably going to have to be an earnings catalyst. And if that's the case, well, then you're at 89. And then if you're at 89, well, then the business has probably shifted in its entirety, and we're probably talking about 115s. If, in fact, the business has actually shifted in its entirety, which we won't know until earnings. So it would have to be a fundamental shift.
But bullish here still.
The chart is set up for a little bounce.
Okay. There you go.
A little violent bounce.
Reddit.
I did not look at this one today. So 200. What are you doing with this one?
They had some AI news last week that took them down, but then they got some upgrades that took them up. So I mean, it got to almost 300. So I think it's reasonable that it's chilling out right here. But I don't know where you think this one makes the next move. I mean, it's been a good trade.
One more leg.
It's been a good trade since you talked about it at 115, right?
Well, yeah, but that trade is over.
Yeah.
I think one more leg, or if it reclaims over to, I would, just to be safe, over like 215. 190. So 200 is holding as like psychological support. Basically what I just did was like from this breakout point, which the breakout point was here. And I just took from that breakout to this high. This 212 is the halfway point, and we're consolidating right in what we would call that golden pocket, but like, or that golden zone. But this is my high value area. So either, I mean, so this actually looks good, but it looks like it could try and do this and then give you one more fake out into that 190 before it's actually ready. So that's what this looks like to me, technically speaking, is that it's almost done, but there might have one more it might have one more whoops-a-daisies in store. And that would probably line up better to this. Yeah, I'm getting a little order block. So as close to 190 as possible, but it's pretty much, it looks pretty much done. Like it's not, yeah, I think most of the sellers are mostly done. Anybody that was going to sell has mostly sold. So this is gearing up for another move soon. Very soon.
Okay. Next one, Netflix, and I'm going to go pee real quick, but yeah, Netflix.
You're going to pee on the one that you just took a trade on?
Well, I didn't take a trade. You took a trade on this. So you
I did.
I might take a trade. But
all right, well, we'll see. So Netflix had a low of just around 1150 previously. Actually, it was a good spot right here. It was 1140, and then it was actually looking pretty decent, like it was going to hold some kind of an uptrend, and that's right around where I think it was Elon and whoever got a hold of it, which is, it has its own kind of dealings, and the cancel Netflix kind of movement started. That said, that kind of stopped that trend. But when you look at this and you're like, huh, all right, so here we are. And even if I draw this further to the left, it aligns pretty perfectly to the prior breakout retest. It was looking good. Now this kind of gives me an even better, broader base. Shoot. My bad. And then I got a handful of tests in here. So here, we were watching this actually in our group. I got one test, and then I got a second one, and it was at 1150. Usually what we want to do is if we're looking at the low, then we want to look for the low right before the very last low for a little confirmation. And that's pretty much exactly what we got right here, which was yesterday. And then today, you happen to catch an upgrade in the pre-market. And that gives you a bit of a confirmation over 1170. So 1170 is, I have 1167. And you can run this back to 1173. So over 1173, I would call this change of character. Oops. And I think that's a pretty big inflection point on the chart here. That's all of this consolidation here. And you're now back over all of this. So even at any of this point here, and even this morning's little mini pullback into 1185, this whole area becomes kind of your support. And I can pull this back all the way over here. All of this becomes support. And so if all of this holds, as support, actually we could take that down. This whole thing was like that breakout, retest, double bottom kind of scenario. And if this ends up getting up and out, two things we want to know. One, where are the bears actually hiding? They're actually hiding all the way up 1275s. They're hiding way over 1250, which means that this should be free and clear. The reason I do this is because I want to know how much runway do I have overhead before the bears actually start attacking me. And so I have October 21st earnings. I should be in the clear before the bears start attacking me up to 1250. That's a lot of runway. And then if I can actually get enough momentum and break through the bear wall, well, then this becomes a giant consolidation. And if that's a consolidation, because this was, don't forget, Amit has his Netflix After Dark OF actually streaming on the new Netflix platform. And that's coming in hot, which would make this the new $1 trillion company. And that should push this close to 15 if this is actually a breakout, is what he told me, because it's going to be a big special somewhere like that.
Do you see a head and shoulders on this chart?
No. What? First of all, I'm not a pattern trader, bro. What is that? What are you asking me about?
I'm just asking you what Doug's asking you. That's all.
Do I see a head and shoulders? Look, first of all, patterns fail more often than not. Second of all, sure, if I wanted to, but no. So where Doug is at is what Doug, if you want to be a head and shoulders, it would have already played out because that honestly was over here. And the way that works is that you measure this because your neckline is realistically here and your neckline would have played out. So in this instance, target acquired. If Doug's trying to stretch this to say that this is the head and shoulders situation, it's kind of the same story because the neckline in this instance is going to be what here. And again, in this instance, you're pretty close to played out, but where my lines are, you're about to, look, you just got to upgrade. You're about to get literally, I don't see that as head and shoulders. It's already invalidated because this is too far away. It's not a head and shoulder. Like this is the head and shoulders. This is like a head and poop your pants. Like, no, that's not a head and shoulders. This would be something else. Cause this would be like, sorry, head and poop your pants. That's actually a pattern that I have saved somewhere else. You guys don't have that one, which is more of like a go sideways pattern. I think I'm over time, but
ultimately you like this one. You think it's a good balance.
Ultimately, I like this one. I like this one for a couple different reasons. I think that there's just the one challenge. If you get the one challenge is more of a the cancel Netflix ideology, if you will. Yeah. Like, do you really feel like that? Because I would actually struggle with that. But then I really think about that, and I'm like, I'm legitimately not canceling Netflix. Like, it's just storyline.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately not canceling Netflix. I get that, but at the end of the day, the thing is that like, it's a business, and I'm in the market to make money. I'm not in the market to I don't do this ESG stuff. I don't do this. If you don't like the trade, don't take the trade, right? You don't have to invest. This is not any of that. But yeah, I get it. But no, I would be on Elon's side if it was from argument's sake. But dude, I don't. I didn't even see those shows that he's talking about. But I'll plead ignorance there. And I'm actually going to avoid that whole topic altogether because it's just about making money from a chart perspective. And right now, I think they're going to report, and it's probably going to be what's the I'm gonna go with the Huntress and the Saja voice, and we're not going to miss. How's that?
Okay. NBIS.
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 I actually, so NBIS I like.
Timer. I sound so aggressive saying that, but it's just, we're getting used to it, guys.
Timer.
That was good. I think the flow is good. I think people are really enjoying the flow. So that's good.
I like NBIS. My only question right now is like, where do I buy it? I think I buy it like right now.
So I was talking to a big NBIS fanboy yesterday. He says 110 or below, it's worth taking a nibble.
No. So. Well, okay. So sure. But like that already happened. That's the thing. So from a technical perspective, if it's 110 or below, then you've actually broken. So like, I guess I'm pretty positive it's literally right now. So, like below 115 or below 120. Pretty sure it's like right now, but the only thing I'm waiting for is tomorrow morning. Because if it's not right now, then he's probably right. But if it's below 110, it's more like 90s. That's the only other thing. Because if it's below 110, then I really need to go in here. Yeah, again, this would come down to your, what's the word? Your time horizon. So if it would come down to your time horizon. So it's gotta be here, but the only reason I'm not, I mean, equity, I think you're fine, right? But I already have equity here. So I think the only question is like, what do I do? This is a personal thing. There were other things that I actually liked a little bit more that I ended up grabbing. And it was just a matter of, can I manage so many different things at once? But I do like this here now, today. I think tomorrow, if you're over 120, it's just, if NBIS is over 120 tomorrow, it's going to look even better. Definitely if it's over 123, what I have here is if this is over 123 tomorrow, this is on and cracking, and it's probably going to be trying to gear up towards a 150 kind of handle on this guy for the next. So this would be the pullback now. Oops. Here, nearly a full retest, but retesting the trend line, 123. Wow, that's a very squiggly line that just happened. It looked like that, maybe a little bit of a sideways action, but an extension would hit me right into 145 here. But I'm retesting very close to that 115 top here. And definitely that headline news of 109. So I actually like it here and now. To me, it was just personally a question of being able to manage so many things at once. But yeah, this looks good.
Okay. Celsius.
CALH. Oh, dude, I don't. This is hard. There's just too many things happening at once right now in this fracking market, dude.
Well, I mean, this one's outperformed so many names because of their acquisitions. So
yeah, I think the Rockstar acquisition just like it changed a lot. Oh my God, Celsius is happening right now. Oh, shit. I knew it.
Is that a cup and a handle?
Well, yeah, but I mean, do you remember when I texted you the other day and I was like, hey, dude, Celsius was up here. I was like, you would take a little short side and then just chill, throw a limit order, and it would fill. That would have been like a banger trade. And you would have got to us, and then we could have reversed it. But I didn't reverse it, and now here we are. This is the moment. I need to do this. This is happening. This is actually, so I like this because some tech is a little, today's intraday action was a little funky to me. And we did see some rotation. Celsius is one of those weird spots where it's technically in the consumer staple sector. So if tech is not having the greatest of days, Celsius will be having the greatest of days. That's just because of the sector that it sits in. So tomorrow, if tech's not having the greatest of days, I near guarantee you that Celsius will be. And so this is a first watch tomorrow morning. To me, I think you put this on your radar out of the gate, because 59.96 was the critical point where the bears should give up. And it should be a really strong push into 70, especially with earnings coming, having bought Rockstar already. And then it'll probably stop for a little bit, but it's really trying. At least from a trading perspective, that's a trade right there. So
Okay.
I don't think there's any more dips on this. I think the dip happened. I think this is in the rips because it's now over. As long as it's over 59.96, that is actually over resistance.
Grab.
This one had a good day today, didn't it?
Yeah, it gave up some of the high of days, but still not a bad day.
Oh, it did. So another one, dude. Intraday. Did you know? Can I tangent for a second? Did you know if you guys Google or not, if you chat GPT or Grok? So I'm a swing trader. I think a lot of you guys are swing traders too, but I trade with a lot of day traders. Did you know that if you what was it? If you total up all the moves of overnight moves in the stock market versus the moves intraday in the stock market, that if you just traded intraday, it's a net negative moves in the stock market overall.
I did not know
and
that.
all of the like upside moves in the market have been from overnight sessions. Is that crazy?
I think it's because people get FOMO overnight and into low liquidity. They just buy.
It's literally like
I've done it all the time, to be honest.
I didn't know because it wasn't always like that. But I guess in the last like 10 years,
yeah,
it's gotten crazier. But okay. So I mean, this was a really good pullback into the sixes. It saved itself. Man. I mean, it's one test. I think you give it a couple.
I think so too. I think if it breaks 660, it's back to potentially getting over 7.
Was it all-time high?
Well, all-time high is like the 15s, but 662 was the 52-week high. It broke it in the pre-markets, but not during the market open.
$6.11. So it's if I break this down the way that we break everything else down, I have some confidence around 622, but it was over the 622. That's where the bears. Is that funny? Well, not funny to you, but that was that 622 is where those bears showed up, and then over 630, and then you're going pretty close to the highs, which when you look at it this way, you really would like to see it hold 623. You'd like to see it hold this area because that's where they kind of gave up. And really what you want to start to see, this is that prior resistance. It was support. It was support here for a minute, for a short time. Support. It became resistance here. It acted as like a springboard here. And now you kind of want to see it become resistance, which means, I'm sorry, I misspoke, become support, which what that looks like is that anybody that was selling becomes a buyer once again. And so that's generally what you want to see. Now, do they buy a little bit lower? Maybe, right? Which puts this around 611, something like that. But the trajectory is definitely still there. And that may, since you're a pattern guy, that may give you another opportunity for another cup and handle that or inverse head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it, that launches you up and out for your next one, which may take some time to build, but it's definitely still constructive.
Okay. IREN. So this one went through a lot of different things today. New deal in the morning, dilution after hours, but still holding pretty strong around that.
Did it?
Yeah. 875 million of an offering.
What's the deal?
The deal was more access to GPUs in the morning, which is good for them because they can get more customers, but after hours, they dilute.
And they're selling space.
GPU reselling, data centers, compute. Basically like a
You say
smaller compute, whatever, you know. Dude, how do you say Nokia?
Just like that.
So
Nokia.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
With like a O.
Well, today I said Nokia.
Oh.
Does that sound off? Nokia?
I don't know.
The whole chat was like, it's Nokia. It's not Nokia. And I was like, all right.
Like you don't have a Kia.
Yeah.
Car.
Yeah, it's exactly. Anyway, IREN, what do we
Kias
think?
didn't exist before Nokia.
That's true.
So it can't be like that. I'm going to say 52s between 52 and 50. 52 to 50 retest right in here. That would be picture perfect. Par for the course. Technical pullback and retest. Exactly that. So this is coming into 52, 50. 52, between 52 and as close to 50 as possible. God, this is getting violent. This one's starting to scare me, man. Not gonna lie.
Why? Is this up too much?
It's just parabolic, but you know, it is what it is. It has been so spot on. 60 was the next one. 65 was absolutely tippy top right there. But of this pullback to the extension. 60 at 60, that's I think when we were here last time. But from this move to here, you gotta be, it's 50, as close to 50 as possible for the pullback. But the good news is that if that serves as a pullback and you get the breakout, I mean, that's what that is 75.
Yeah, I mean,
which is crazy.
I've hesitated to buy here because I'm like, dude, look, it's up 5x in 4 months. If I'm wrong, I lose a lot of money. And why do I want to take that risk towards the end of the year? If I'm right and my upside is 75, like that's a great upside. But I mean, people bought this thing at $10. So what am I doing trying to get $25 out of it? Right?
What are you doing, man?
Yeah, I don't see the risk reward being attractive here. I think the company is doing phenomenally well and they've done a major pivot, but it's one of those things where you might have missed it, right? And maybe it's going to 100, but the risk that's going to happen is
100's on the mark here. It's at 98, 78 is the highest number I have here. But they're eluding. I mean, that's fine, but yeah, it's the basic pullback is 50, possibly 47, but expect that. It doesn't mean you have to sell. Oh, I mean,
yeah,
shoot, you're up like a billion %.
Yeah, agreed. SMCI, still like this one?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, filled this last gap today, right here. Not that gaps have to be filled because they don't. They don't, but it did. But big moves. I still don't think this is done. I mean, I still look at this and like, even at whatever it was, 50 something, dude, I'm just like, this 49 was literally Liberation Day level. Like, that's Liberation Day, man. I'm like, what? I just remember looking at this. I'm like, this is Liberation Day pricing? Am I looking at a stock that's like equally to benefit, if not more, than Dell, who, by the way, raised their guidance today, at Liberation Day prices? And I'm like, dude, that's dumb. And yeah, so.
Well, SMCI should benefit if Dell benefits, right?
For sure. They're just, and I get why it was down. And even if and when they report, people are still going to yap. Oh, there's no moat. Agreed. Crap margins. Agreed. It's servers, but just the same, they're going to benefit just as much, if not more than anybody else. If you like AMD, if you like NVIDIA, sorry, you kind of need to like SMCI. Like, if you like semis at all, if you like data centers at all, I'm sorry, you can't look at this and be like, there is pretty high probability that these guys report their best quarter ever, if not pre-announce and have an AMD type moment. Just, I don't know. Not that anybody would probably believe them if they did, though. So there's that too, because there's scar tissue. I'm not saying you have to drink the Kool-Aid. You could probably serve it, but I don't think you have to drink it. But I can just look at this and be like, there's a really, there's like no way to me that these guys don't report their best quarter ever. Like, I guess I have to go on record to say that. Like, there's a very high probability that that's going to happen. Extremely high probability. But anyways, like, it's a good day today for sure. Even the close on this one actually got bought up again. So I still think this goes right into the 60s, maybe just over 62, probably under 65. These numbers are just like heading to this. To me, this should be still like $70. We're about halfway there. And if this ends up being that kind of consolidation, what these are for me, I think probably 80s later on. But this is all part of that pre-earnings run that probably takes us to the third shot into this $65 kind of threshold, which is what I've been shooting for, technically speaking. And this, if I tag that top and that top, that gives me some more room overhead. I guess I should do this. But yeah, this still is like a layup to me. Yeah, and I have, again, ton of confluence here. Yeah, this is, I don't have anything aside from that gap that just really got filled today, which is, this is fine.
Chris,
so maybe a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, Chris is a fan of it as well. So he's loading up as well. And Sam.
Yeah, I don't see how you cannot look at this. And well, not just this, but the deals. And I mean, if AMD actually gets a deal, Dell barely has any AMD chassis. Like, that's pretty much all. Anyways, yeah. Bullish SMCI, all of it. Cool. Moving on.
Weeble. Haven't done this one in a minute. I don't know, guys. Why was it down 6% today? Does anyone know?
I don't know. It's one ugly chart, bro.
Yeah, it's not really Hood 2.0 as some people thought. Not yet. I don't know.
I don't like this chart. This hurts my eyes. Dude.
It's ugly.
This is one of the ugliest charts I've seen in a very long time.
I just don't even know what's the catalyst anymore on this, because their growth fundamentally sucks if you actually look at the numbers too. So I don't know.
This is $10. Yeah. Well, you're coming down here for like if this doesn't save it, like you're coming lower. Today is what we call a kill candle. If you thought the 20-day was going to save you, no, you got a downside squeeze today, a pretty epic one.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not sure what the reason.
What is this move on this percent today?
6.5%.
I think everybody threw in the garbage today. But there are a lot of things weird today. Like, okay, I understand the question because there are some things today that looked like very weird. Like, do you go out and buy this today because it was just so down? My answer has to be like, no, I don't go out and jump on because this could easily be a falling knife. This is not on my shopping list. Fundamentally, but if it's on yours, I think the best thing I could say is you have to wait for it to get back over 13 and 1335.
Well, there's your answer. Bull insiders were allowed to sell today after IPO. That could have been the reason.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank
you, Stefan. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big one. All right, cool. So that's what we got on Webull. 10 looks like a target for you where I could get to. Oscar.
So I think healthcare is a good spot, which is why I was kind of liking that Celsius. Like right now, if you're kind of looking at rotational stuff, holy what?
Yeah. Yesterday, Trump said ACA stuff.
Whoa.
Trump basically said bullish things yesterday, like really bullish things.
Dude, my boy Jan, just crushing it right now. He had his greatest day in the options world. And I know we're like, don't sell your Oscar. And this thing hits 25 yesterday. I hope he takes a vacation.
This is another retail gem. It's another retail gem.
Yeah.
12 to 25, basically.
Wow. But I mean, it looks good. It's 35. Yeah, 30, just over 30 is the extensions here. It may turn into a bit of a cult-y stock. Just saying. But this is such a big level. I think you have to give it a couple shots before it actually breaks through in reality. So I wouldn't get overly excited either. This is the old saying, like, do you buy at, I wouldn't be jumping out buying at resistance. I think there's going to be two kind of levels here. One is, I guess I'm going to be saying $20 support. Yikes. That's crazy.
Dude, $20 support would be pretty bullish if you're not.
Yeah. So that's about what I'm looking at right now. So it's just underneath. I can't believe I'm saying that. All right. So it's about 1975, give or take, right in here. We'll see. Earnings are coming up. I think we got the extensions, right? Is that what you're talking about? ACA extensions? Yeah. Well, what this whole government shutdown is kind of like about that part of it.
Exactly.
So they're right in the mix.
Okay. Can we get Salesforce? Any juice there? Yeah.
Juice. Yeah. So CRM, I think is so CRM is, to me, it's like a November trade. It's possible. We had a big old candle yesterday. I like Salesforce. We just got into this 20, 50 day kind of chop zone yesterday. Huge, like $10 candle yesterday out of, I don't know what news. Gave it all back today, but held. literally right at that inflection point. So I think you kind of like hold the line literally right here. You're hovering right off the 200 week simple moving average. That's what this purple line is right here. I think this bases out. And I put out a trade the other day on Salesforce. Listen, that trade is very specifically for a nasty, those types of trades are for exactly this situation. Nasty grind, choppy to the upside that could take you into this kind of box right in here. So instead of buying calls in a situation like this, like exactly that type of trade is what you would do if you want to take a piece for this kind of upside, literally right here. The cheapest way to take that type of trade. But I think that to go outright and buy CRM calls, especially on a day like yesterday, having had that $10 move out of nowhere, on the news, was too expensive, straight up. And the risk of a situation like this was possible. And I actually still have that trade, and I like it, believe it or not. And yeah, I think that is possible. But the way that it gets here, I think, is going to be choppy, grindy, trendless, and ugly because of how it's been like that, I think. And then after that, if it can get through that, then CRM might be on the mend, and only then. But that's why I put that trade out there like that, because I didn't want to take a trade on CRM really any other way. And it's not really going to be out of the weeds until there's something until it's over that kind of hurdle. Till then, I didn't want to risk a whole lot, and I didn't really want to put anything out that wasn't actually really protected on a stock like this.
You know, I think going into the last couple of months of the year, if you're going to buy Salesforce, you're taking the risk on the next earnings being the catalyst, either up or down, or it becomes a tax loss. And it's like, I don't know, like this is the time where you kind of take a trade you're really confident on, or consolidate over the next 3 months, right?
Yeah. No, actually, I have a couple different ways of trading CRM right now, but like that's one of them. The other one is just like straight calendars, or like poor man's cover calls, I think are ideal, but pretty tight. Cause like, I don't think this is getting over 260, 270 this month. Like, not happening. It's not breaking out right now. It's just not. And it may be late next month, maybe, but not happening this month.
Yeah. UNH.
This is ready. That green box means trade on right now. Literally right now. So I don't trade this one very often. I mean, I did buy it, but this is a possible trade on here over that last breakout level, 362.57. Again, over 1, 2, 3 times. So it's possible that this continues on right here, right now. We're well over that last box down here. So this is already kind of on its way. What we're looking for here is this prior gap, what we call fair value. So the last little nibble of that low volume pocket is actually about 377, maybe slightly higher. Call it 378. I think he's going to shoot for it tomorrow, possibly this week. And if I take this as this consolidation that it's breaking out of right here now, that actually lands me literally exactly there, right into just around 380 in very short order. If this moves, and if the rotation continues. So sometimes these rotational movements in the market are very short-lived. So you have to be pretty cautious about that stuff too, is like when you see, and I'm only mentioning it because I definitely saw it today, where intraday, when like the Qs pulled back and SPY started to pull back too, what I saw intraday was a lot of rebalance type moves between like healthcare, some safety stuff. But sometimes those things can be very short-lived, meaning like half a day, and they look really good, but they don't last too long. So you just got to be cautious about that.
Okay, that is fair.
But this was actually like a perfect pullback into about the 330s, back to the highs. You should be ready to roll. What was it?
Google.
The Googs. Still a passe. Still on passe. Interesting. But I need this one over 250 still. Not a short, not a long. Still in the condor mode. Yeah. It's actually like exactly where it was last time. It's setting up for something, but it's a little too high risk with no pullback. Well, I mean, it has some semblance of a pullback. So this 245. So this was that larger, from the larger consolidation here, breakout, extension, holding 245. That was important. But this is the box that it should hold. So 245 is holding, and it has held. Do I want to take a stab here at 245? I think you can, for like, this becomes like day trader mode, because I'm not so sure that it is ready to break out, because these are very small moves that it's going to start taking. I mean, very small, couple dollars at a time. And all the while, especially for someone like me, I think it starts to base around 245, and eventually over the next week or so, hopefully it gets its legs underneath it. That's a better way of saying it. But not quite ready yet. You want to see it holding its own over 245. How's that?
I think that's fair. I also think it's healthy. I mean, given how much it pumped, if it's chilling.
Yeah, I mean, this is a strong bullish hold. It is a very strong, very bullish hold over 245. The fact that it's still doing that is very bullish.
Yeah. Okay, let's do one more. Then Jason, you could take a pee break, and we'll watch some stuff, and then you can come back.
Okay. Do we have Jensen or?
We have Dell. We have Michael Dell. So we'll listen to him.
Michael's coming.
Yeah, Michael's coming. MicroStrategy. What are you thinking of this one? And by the way, guys, Jason's Twitter, putting it right here in the chat. For anyone who's interested in joining his Discord, which is free to join. He has a paid tier as well. You can get more deeper information. You can check it out on his link in his bio on X. And if not, then you should just be following him on X in general, because he does drop a lot of alpha on a bunch of tickers on X. And he drops
YouTube.
And his YouTube. I'll put his YouTube. But he also drops football quant analysis, which is very
now
cool.
Yeah.
For the gamblers.
We call him a quant because it was a good layover, or what do you call it? Crossover. Quant is a stock term, but obviously, they're called sharps in the sports world. They don't call them quants, but since we're a stock group, we called them a quant. He's like, what is that? We're calling you the quant.
The quant.
It's actually I don't hate it, man. What am I gonna do here? this crypto situation got real interesting real fast at the end of the day. I'll tell you that much. Really. I think all of these things are a watch. I don't know about BMNR, but Coinbase, MSTR, a lot of these names, Circle.
Are you getting cautious, or
huh?
What do you think? Are you cautious of what's happening, or
no? Well, yeah, sure. I think, but they're all at like pretty key pivots where this is a bullish hold. It hit a pretty interesting spot. It was well on its way. For whatever reason, they decided to get slapped. But if there's still bullish momentum and people still have an appetite, this should get bought up real fast tomorrow, to the point where like it could get bought up tomorrow. Like same thing, Coinbase, real fast. That's the setup that these are at, you know, like that's it. Happy face.
I mean, especially if Bitcoin's just like taking a breather, this gets bought up real quick.
Yeah. So I think that's where we're at. That's what I mean by these are all really interesting setups. Because it's either that or it's the final death blow. I don't know, one of the two.
I mean, 125 to 121 is annoying, but it also feels normal, given we went from 109 to 121, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of really good setups out there. I mean, for me, this is not MSTR, but I think it's all kind of preparation for what are we going to do Q4, right? You do want to be in some crypto names Q4 for that kind of run up. I think for me personally, I was already positioned. Actually, I bought BMNR because you guys know I don't have a lot of. I mean, I already have enough like Ethereum, and I'm not going to go out and buy more ETH. And I'm not trying to buy more crypto, but like it made sense if I'm going to put net new money to work in the space. Okay, fine. You know, it actually makes sense for me as a net new money to go ahead and pick one of the DATs. And it was only going to be the BMNR. But this is breakout retest, higher high. So higher high. The only issue I'm having here is that this is a broadening formation in terms of like, all right, we are getting, sorry, geez, so we could be having like some kind of range expansion, which is what I mean. Like it could get wild. Like we could have some kind of really wild range expansion. That's what I'm saying. Like it could be wild, or it could be wild. It could be a wild day tomorrow.
It could be wild like amazing, or wild like oh boy, right?
Yeah, that's yes.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, guys. We'll give Jason a little bit of a break. We'll listen to Michael Dell, who is seeming super bullish on AI. And then we'll get back. And then after this, we'll do another 30 minutes of audience requests, and we'll get through the last few tickets.
We got to catch up on Super Chats, too.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back, though.
All right.
That could be getting ahead of itself.
The things that we watch out for are signs that, for example, customers are buying things that they don't actually have a immediate need for, and we don't see that at all. In fact, we see kind of the opposite. And I think what's underlying this is the enormous growth in demand for tokens. And so our customers are immediately deploying whatever infrastructure they get. The limiting factor for many of them seems to be, can they get the power into the buildings to supply the energy required?
When you're talking about tokens, you're talking about just that base ability to get work done with AI?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the way this works is you've got these large language models and now multimodal systems and agents and multi-agent systems. And as you advance from the single shot, LLM to these more agent and multi-agent systems, the number of tokens just explodes. And so the demand for computing power is tremendous. Obviously storage, data storage and networking as well. And so, yeah, I mean, our server networking business last year grew at 58%. Last quarter grew at 69%. And, I'm sure at some point there'll be too many of these things built, but we don't see any signs of that. And look, there have been periods in the past where there's like a digestion cycle, but based on the demand signal we see and what we're hearing from customers, we're watching carefully, understand what's going on. It seems like the demand is very solid.
So let's talk about that specifically. I believe you boosted your annual revenue target by 4 percentage points at the low end, 5 at the high end. What should investors read into that and what it signals about your expectations on the durability of demand?
Sure. We have greater confidence in the long-term revenue growth prospects for both our ISG business, which is the AI servers, traditional servers, storage and networking, and all the infrastructure that goes around that, and also PCs with the replacement cycle, the AI PCs. And we also essentially doubled our EPS target, to 15% plus a year. We've achieved that 15% a year over the last 5 years, which is well above our target. So we're raising the EPS target, raising the revenue growth targets, and we also extended the duration of our commitment to grow our dividend by at least 10% a year through FY30. And look, in the last 5 years, we have returned 97% of adjusted free cash flow, or $14.5 billion, to our shareholders in the form of share repurchase and dividends. And we're committed to returning at least 80%. And so, yeah, we have a great business. It continues to grow. We think the earnings per share durability of the business is quite solid.
On the underlying technology, you've talked a lot lately about Dell AI Factory, just being able to deliver that full productivity experience in AI to data center customers. How much do you think you can differentiate on energy consumption through stuff like liquid cooling, which you've also talked about? How much room is there to overcome that energy bottleneck?
There's a ton of work that goes into optimizing these systems, and increasingly we're designing the cold plates and the cooling distribution units and enclosed rear door heat exchangers that dramatically reduce the overall energy consumption. And this is important because the running cost over time is heavily impacted by energy, and there's not enough of it in the world, and that's a constraint. So put all that together, and again with AI, we have really 3 sources of demand. We have the tier 2 CSPs, all the neo clouds. We have sovereign AI, and then we of course have enterprise and commercial AI, which is our traditional customer base. And they're just at the beginning of the S-curve adoption of this technology, and we think that's going to grow substantially over the next several years.
How much of a gating factor?
So Dell CEO, pretty damn bullish. It's not like he's acting like he's not bullish. By the way, Jensen today said that Oracle will be, quote unquote, wildly profitable when asked about the reports around what's going on with Oracle. So Oracle already denied those reports, but Jensen said they're going to be okay. And then Dell upgrading the revenue and EPS forecast by 100% from the prior forecast to me is pretty bullish, and looks like they're excited as well. Okay, so for rapid fire, what, a minute 30? We think
you want to do a minute 30?
I think a minute 30 is fair. All right, so we'll try to get through like 30 tickers with a minute 30, maybe 25, and then we'll be done for today. but I think that should be good enough. I think that should be decent. Okay, let's do one of the super chats, which was Unity. Start off.
Unity. So, oh shoot. So Unity, I actually like a lot here and now. This was for my group. So Unity.
You got to press the timer.
I want to get the preface. All right. Unity is like the perfect retest of all retests. I don't know. It's not the pick of the week because it's not like a here and now. But I bought this today on this pullback with options in small size because I think that this is one where if it goes, it's going to go and I don't need to have a lot of money here and it's going to be nasty. But 35 right here is exactly like a 50% pullback from this, again, breakout level to that prior high. It's also right underneath the 50, 20, and just tagging underneath the 200-week simple moving average and retesting this kind of support area. So again, buying at support, not at resistance. I like that. Also, key level here and massive dip into that giant consolidation. So a lot of area there. I did see some major unusual flow, which is this. This is a November call option, but that is neither here nor there. If this bounce happens, it's going to happen fast and furious. But you know, a stop on this from a trading perspective isn't until like 32. But anywhere in this kind of gray box here is interesting to me, but the chart said take the shot today, so I took the shot today, literally like not that long ago, and this to me looks like the next move would be on a bounce into the 40s, low 40s, and again 43s would be that next stop back to the 20. This is my trajectory. Does it go crazy? I don't know. But at least back in the upper consolidation, this 35 level is also like a quarterly retracement and retest also. So that's Unity. I like it.
Okay. End phase.
End phase.
People are saying it's bottomed, essentially, is why people are interested now.
Well, I mean, at 30. I cannot agree that it's bottomed. I don't really have a higher high. So no. I mean, it's low, but I don't have a break of structure. It looks low. You would, every time you think that this thing is bottomed, it's like, really, dude. It's like UPS. It's out of the trend, but it's just kind of going sideways. It's not getting a lot of love. It needs a lot more love for me to get kind of interested in this. I don't have much on this other than having to go to like a monthly chart and say it's at a point of interest, 35, but it would have to be over like 50 for this to actually say you're out of the weeds.
Also, even if there's massive energy demand, Trump's not friendly to solar, so it's not like that's a tailwind. It's not like AI's.
It would be more hydrogen, if anything, which is why you're seeing like the plugs and fuel cells do what they're doing.
Yeah, agreed. Shopify.
Shop, S-H-O-P. Well, she broke out. So 139 was good. This here, break, extension. You're there at that first target, but not carrying through. So 156 possible initial retest, but in reality, Shopify being Shopify, 150s. Shopify does me dirty too sometimes, about 150.
Okay.
Oh yeah, 150. 150 looks good.
HIMS.
Still stuck. I thought you got your order, dude. It's trying. It's not going down, but has not changed since the last, like, I don't know, 10 times we've looked at this. So not much I can say here that's new. It's holding that kind of like slow trend to the upside. It's consolidating. I think that $60 level here is just kind of acting as the overhead supply. So there's like some kind of seller. It's actually consolidating a little bit more. There's something here. So it's getting tight. It's acting like it wants to do something like that. So sooner than later. And that would be like to 68s, 66s maybe. Then we can talk about it retesting up in here. Which would be that 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It looks like it's going to try.
Okay.
It's constructive. Actually, it's constructive. It's taking its sweet ass time, dude. Jeez.
It is taking its time, but it's still up 100% year to date, right?
Yeah. What is the other one?
Open door.
I see a lot of chatter. I mean, this looks good. 12s. I think that dip has been bought, so you don't want to see this come down at all from here. You definitely want to see this hold 8 3/4, 875, one hold. And through 980. If it can get through 980, cool, you're probably breaking out. Actually, it looks like a squeeze is coming to 12, 13s. 13s, there you have it.
Okay. JD.
JD, I'm in. I like it. Singles day is 11/11, so I don't think you want to sleep on this. It's just building. It's just building. Singles day is like prime day, but China. I probably should have bought some more today, huh? Maybe not today, but this is getting real tight. I think this is happening. It's one of the better looking like charts. It just doesn't get a whole lot of love. I'm not moving on this guy. Okay. I like this, and I like this to the 40s and change.
Okay. DraftKings.
DraftKings, I haven't looked at. So DraftKings was getting hit off like hoodie, like eating their lunch. Quite frankly, I actually don't think that's true, knowing both of what they do. So this is probably overdone to the downside, actually. But I don't want to step in front of this either. But yeah, I think this is becoming overdone. Well, it's not breaking out. It's just going to be consolidating. Dude. It needs a sentiment change. And I feel like I need to take this one. I like it here. Look, Hoodie's not competing with DraftKings, like really. They don't do parlays. They don't do a lot of stuff that DraftKings does. They're not probably going to. It's a similar business, but Hood gets maybe 20% of what DraftKings actually does at most. At most, from someone that runs a community of very active sports bettors. You would love to think that Hood gets a lot of it, but they really don't.
Yeah. Okay. CoreWeave.
This is really interesting. So I might take a look at that. That's very overdone. CoreWeave. I'm torn on CoreWeave. I like it, but I'm going to like it better closer to 120. This is an interesting hold, but it's too on the fence for me. I'm going to like this closer to like another $5 lower for a trade. Again, when I say that, it really depends on your time horizon. Like if you're going to be in here for a long time, like you really don't care about $5. If you're going to be in here for a short time, then you probably do care about $5. So, so that said, I think from a trading perspective, all that kind of perspective matters a lot. I think this is 120. You're basically in this little chop zone right here. So 120 is basically the bottom of this zone and closer to support, although it's pretty close now. So this is exactly what I was talking about today. We saw like a lot of pullback. I didn't start that in time. Like decent open and sold off right into the close. Maybe 125 is a better retest. So if tomorrow's like a red open and then we start to flip green midday, then I'm definitely going to be interested in that. Maybe it's not till Friday, but yeah, this is setting up to me for sure.
Galaxy.
GLXY. I mean, this is Ripple Treasury, right?
Yeah. Well, no, not Ripple. I mean, they're a Bitcoin miner turned into a data center play now, which is why they moved so much.
Oh, these I don't understand.
I mean, they have these mining facilities that are just pivoting, basically.
Yeah, Bitcoin miners turned into data center plays. I don't understand. It's basically IREN. So I thought it was Ripple Digital Treasury. So okay, whatever. So all right. Well, this is the first extension. 40 goes to 45 if it can hold over 40 and a half. $40.50, then it would be 44. Otherwise, it's a bit of a heavy pre-market wick this morning. Otherwise, around 35 looks like a decent pullback to me. But this trajectory into the 50s.
Okay. ASTS. Another big move even after dilution today.
Space, dude. The next frontier.
Market loves it right now.
I'm just like,
loves it. Rocket Lab, ASTS. And look, I think they're great companies. I do think they're getting a pretty aggressive premium. And I think it's because they love the sector right now.
I mean,
it's not like the earnings growth is that impressive on any of those companies.
Is it not?
No, not at all. Not at all. Like compared to the other sectors, space earnings growth is either not there or just starting to. I mean, Neutron's not even ready, but the market's so excited about what it could look like.
So this is the first extension over 76 and over 76, call it 70. There's like a $10 jump. I feel like this one you blink and it could happen. You want to see this hold 72. You want to see this hold 72.85. And if it doesn't, then okay. A pullback would be around 58s, which actually lines up to roughly this guy right here.
Okay.
Which seems crazy because that's like 50%, but that is what it is. I want to look at one.
Yeah, go ahead. Go
ahead. I tuned in for a second and I saw this thing, Air Technologies. This is Roy's new shtick.
Yeah.
So I know this one as a micro cap trader, but Air Technologies. All right. So this looks like, and I didn't look at it today, so I just wanted to take the opportunity to look at it. So sorry. But I'm looking at, okay. So 21 retest. It's actually not bad. And if I pull this back, usually this guy, I actually need to look more weekly. That could be a nasty, but testing stuff. All right, let me get some more confluence. I'm trying to be fast. This is actually for real for me. Sorry, I'm taking advantage. I don't hate the spot. We're going to need to see tomorrow. So this morning's little wick 23. That's like a perfect golden pocket retest. Slaps it. Interesting. Holds and held 25.25. That's exactly what you'd want to see. This actually looks not bad if it can hold over 25.25. In that instance, after a huge run like that, what could this do? Oh, Roy. All right. Okay. I'm good. Thank you.
He was saying he would make it 10% of his portfolio if it
could do 40s.
Yeah, he's convicted in it for sure.
So it's a micro cap trader. It's very news driven. You need to be all up in the news on something like this. And this thing can move like 20% a day, dude, which I think it just did. So, yeah, it just did.
Okay. Lyft.
Lyft is, I saw this thing with I didn't see that, but I thought it was going to pull back a little bit more and it didn't. I just check on it every now and then. It's just holding. So not many are selling it. The only thing I'm seeing is people just kind of getting bored of waiting here, which I keep forgetting. You got to remind me to hit the timer.
Sorry.
It's rapid fire. Maybe we get to pull back. Dude, I don't know. This is it's very wicky. I'm still going to hold around that like sub 20 dip buys. These wicks are more interesting to me. Which is, I think, what we're just kind of testing right now.
It's been holding steady in the 20s, though, which I think is nice, right?
Yeah. Just like, what are we doing with Lyft? I have Lyft. I don't know why I own Lyft. Chart looks good.
Do you think the move's done in this, or?
That's what I'm trying to think of. Yeah. Like technically it doesn't look like it. 28 is where it could go. I think 28, and this is a good retest. So, but it could continue to come down a little bit, and it still be intact. So I'm not moving this. Again, time horizon matters when we're talking about trading. So, for me, it's a little bit. I'm going to be slow and steady here. Not really, meaning I will hold well through earnings.
Okay. Soundhound.
Soundhound. That's actually a strong close. This one that gets me though. It's a harder one to trade for sure, because it's like Air Technologies. Weekly is So it's more about tomorrow. It's a stronghold. This blows my mind. Is the craziest earnings explosion. It basically gives it all back and then rips a lot more. You're like, what? It's trying for 20 is basically what's happening. And if it get through 20, then it'd be 22. But this is a big consolidation here. Net that I think you're going to start to have people talk about if it can actually get through, which is still going to align with that exact same area that I just outlined between 20 and 22. And as well as this, what we call fair value right there.
Okay. EOSE.
Yikes.
Some of these names, explosive, bro.
I mean,
just explosive.
What you doing to me, man?
See, and the people that are getting bulled up on this or like a IREN, my fear is the risk reward is not good enough here after this big of a move. And maybe it is, but it's like, again, do you know the company that well to be like, yep, after a 5X, I'm going to buy more?
So 12.5 seems like a decent pullback. Speculative. It's a hard call for me. We just had this pullback retest. So you're going to be looking for something between just underneath 13 is where I'm getting that. So if this comes down, kind of wicks in here at 13. And then if it does make another move, then it would be into the 16s like that. And that would just be this channel.
Yeah.
That's the channel.
Okay. Ondas.
That channel right there.
ONDS. Drone company.
Drones.
This one also massive move, dude. Look at these charts, bro.
What? What?
My fear is people buy these and these end up not topping.
What are you doing to me, man?
Dude, it's hard for me to touch any of these. It's like these is too much strength to buy into after a move. Especially if you're not going to hold it for the next 5 years. If you're just trying to trade it or hold it for a couple months, how do you know if you're getting a great price here? They're all vertical, just all of them.
This is completely vertical. Like actually, this one is completely vertical. Like legitimately, I can't really do anything with that. Except say maybe 12. And I really had to pull teeth to get that, which I just did. That's 12.19. That was some special sauce. I had to go to a monthly chart on a $12.50 stock, but that's what it is. And it's got to hold 990s, which is basically yesterday's high. And if not, well, you don't really, something like this, you really don't want to pull back because a pullback would be 470, 450 for a basic pullback, which is like 50% equity.
Rubric.
I like Rubric. What are you doing, Rubric? What are you doing? All right. What did that date say? I'm not to December, so it's a little early. Is that a double beat, double skeet? This is a valuation question, addressable TAM question. This was kind of like my major fear with Rubric overall. I love the company. Do I love the stock though? That is the biggest thing. I like the stock.
It's becoming a retail SaaS favorite.
Oh, it's a great company. It's a great product. As with Snowflake. So, but it's in the same, well, it's just like, it's as with Snowflake. Valuation, Snowflake-ish. Hang on one second. But addressable market is smaller than Snowflake, for sure. So the multiple becomes a question. That's fundamental stuff. So 77 and change is an important hold for now. I'm going past on my time limit here. That's really all I can say on this. And it's not over 80. It's gotta be well over 80. Otherwise, this actually is currently in a downtrend. The trend is not up on Rubric. The trend is in fact down. Lower highs and lower lows. This is let's not confuse this with the uptrend. Since June, it's been in a downtrend. Since inception, it's in an uptrend. But I think that kind of puts you in a sideways situation where it might be better on 70, which is a hard call. It's a really hard call. I don't see this happening. I don't see this going to 70 either. So, which makes it a hard call.
Marvell.
What is it? Marvell. Man. All right. So I like Marvell. Did they just pay their divvy? Friday. Ex divvy. All right. So right on the money, 87.28. So ups through that. I think it's the first test. I'd love to say that this holds. I don't know that this holds, but this was the first shot. Marvell being Marvell. It, of course, lists to come back, retest. It'll probably it might fail below 87, which is fine to me. I think that means that you might get another shot here. And that shot would probably be around 84s. And maybe even retesting this area. So I like this, but I like it. My time horizon here, much longer than a trade. My time horizon is not a trade time horizon. So I guess I shouldn't really be talking from that perspective. If this is holding over 87.5, this is going to 96, near 100. That's what's in the cards here. Until then, around 85 should be a standard pullback and retest of this prior consolidation. Just keep in mind, Marvell has a small divvy coming, an X date of the 10th, and then earnings late November, which means it's not, post dividend, cool, but then it's more like setup, and you'd be looking for that kind of thing, which once that happens, it might also do another pullback reset at some point. That's what I'd see here. Best case. Worst case, it doesn't do that.
Path, are you hearing anything about that one?
Wow. We're going in the Wayback Machine, aren't we?
Yeah, this one it's kind of sprung back to life.
See, now when are we dumpster diving or what are we doing here?
Well, so their earnings were better than expected, and I think that's why people are thinking in the age of AI they might be winners again with RPA, but obviously the stock's been trashed a couple of years.
I don't know what RPA is. I actually never looked into them.
Robotic processing automation. It's kind of like AI before AI, and now they think AI is a tailwind, but it's up 20% from the lows. I don't know. Kathy used to love this. She sold out of it. You do have more.
I mean, it's there. It's probably good for a squeeze, which is like 18.
Yeah.
But when we start talking about this kind of stuff, that's when it kind of gets a little shaky because it's basically, we should basically be looking at GME and AMC.
Yeah.
Which is like the beginning of the end. I don't know. Not that it is. I don't know that it is. But yeah, I mean, technically it's there. But again, buying at resistance is not the ideal way to trade. That's definitely resistance.
Cypher, another one of these.
What is the ticker?
CIFR.
It's a crypto miner.
Turn data center play. It's kind of crazy, bro.
Like, what do they do? When they turn data center play?
Dude, what do? They make the stock go up. Whenever you say data center, they make the stock go up.
So is it fake?
No, so Google actually took a stake in Cypher. They took a stake in TeraWolf. Like they are very real, but it's just crazy how their stocks have pivoted so dramatically from crypto to AI. But Google, I think a 800 million warrant stake. TeraWolf, they took like a $1 billion stake or something. So these are real, and Google, Microsoft, Amazon, they need these companies because they have less supply, too much demand, but hard pivots. Like it's almost like they don't give a shit about Bitcoin anymore because there's no money in Bitcoin mining.
Well, I thought they had just a bunch of ASICs. So is it essentially you're saying that they had a bunch of ASICs that they were using to mine and they're repurposing their ASICs and renting out their GPUs?
They're repurposing the entire mining facility.
Wait, do you understand what I'm saying though? Is that what they're doing? Or
I think you are correct about that, but from the Galaxy interview I did with Novogratz last week, he said basically they have the facility to mine Bitcoin, and they have a bunch of GPUs.
RB says exactly.
Yeah, they have a bunch of ASICs, but not only are like IREN is buying more GPUs and buying more land, Nebius is buying more land, and then they're using the facilities to then rent it out to the hyperscalers.
Okay, but I use the word ASIC because I was like very, very, very specific on like, don't these guys have like application specific GPUs? Like, yes. Are they not like completely useless for AI?
I don't know. I mean, it might be useful in certain situations.
Pretty sure that would be pretty useless for AI, though, no?
For some parts of what the hyperscalers want, probably. But I think they just want...
It's a scam anyways.
That's a good question. Yeah,
okay, G10, it's the facility itself.
And the energy and the space and the rack for the space for the racks.
Correct? Okay. So my thought process is like, I'm pretty sure that these are application specific things, but they do have a lot of power. So basically, yeah. Okay. Sorry. So this is a tangent. Can we timestamp this as a different conversation? Because this isn't Cypher. But for anybody that does, I don't know if it's useful for others. I can't be the only one that doesn't fully understand this, because when people say crypto miner turned data center play, that's why it doesn't compute to me. Because like,
I see what you did there. Compute. See what you did. No, look, I thought it was weird too, but then when I talked to Novogratz last week, it made sense. Like he by the way, he also said it could be a bubble. He didn't shy away from that, and he's the CEO of one of these companies. But he is saying, hey, there's a lot of demand, and all we're doing is pivoting to 50% of Galaxy's business is now data centers. And 100% of it used to be Bitcoin.
Yeah. So basically they're trashing the ASICs.
Yeah.
Because the real estate, the power access is so much more valuable than the cheap ASICs that they had for mining.
Literally.
Which actually, okay, I can make sense. That can make sense to an extent. Very bubblicious. But okay. So Cypher 1526. Look. The first time it hits 1550, and I'll go ahead and start this timer here. This would be like IREN the first time it hit the thing. Without knowing any better, I would have said the first time that trade is over, complete, kaput, done, donezo. And it was until it wasn't, which again, trading is all about your time horizon. So if it was a trade, the trade was complete, target acquired. Now, you have a comeback, retest. You don't want to take a call at resistance. You don't want to, I say call, sorry. I'm an options trader. Forgive me. You don't want to go long at resistance. You want to wait for resistance to become support. And maybe, just maybe, that's what happened today. But you do want to have a little, and I'm zooming into smaller time frames. You want to have a little bit more confluence. Because again, I guess bubblicious. So zooming in smaller time frame, you have some areas here. I would wait till it's over 16 to say that you're in the clear. But if it does, cool. And if in fact 16 is in the clear, I'm just kind of swagging this here because it's a little choppy chart, and I'm taking it from essentially this peak to that peak. And that looks like about 19 and a half. Squeezy. It looks squeezy. So I'd say it has a chance to at 20.
Okay.
Join the party. Could be vaporware. All right. Next. Sorry.
Okay. I have to pee again, but Coinbase. I'll be right back.
Oh, shoot. So Coinbase, I might get in more than a minute and a half because we're timing his bathroom breaks. Someone must have sent him a care package because that's 2 in a row. Coinbase long was, so side note, this little pattern, I'm going to take a moment to do a teachable moment. This pattern here, I think is the pattern. Big consolidation. Looks like it's going to break out. Comes back in. fully deep all the way back into your prior support area. And then just about right there, exactly at the original breakout, you get a tag. I think this is what you're going to start looking for as we get into the holiday season. Full breakout, which is very frustrating, all the way back, and then you get this kind of ripper. Once you get that, you're going to measure, again, from top to bottom, this bottom, and you have exactly what we've been showing you guys, that where do the bears show up? So the bears showed up in force right here, 391, but we're coming back in to retest essentially that 50% range. As long as Coinbase can actually hold this 368, which today, in fact, it did, shockingly so. Remember, Coinbase was, I think, one of the original case studies for our, I don't remember what we called it here on your channel, but I called it like surgical strike campaign. But as we get into this Q4 kind of rally, these are usually one of the first ones that go. If this holds 368, then this actually uptrend is possibly still intact, and you're still looking potentially for this 420 type level, which might seem a little crazy, but that's all off that launch pad from right here, that retest into this bigger support, which when you pull this back was actually just a retest of this area. So you have multiple confluence areas that were to go along in all of this area. Anyways, so actually Coinbase, it's possible that today was a net new long, even though it had such a move. This bounce at the close was actually fairly constructive. That said, 368 is a critical juncture here. And so if 368 doesn't hold, then it's, from a trading perspective, it's probably going to come back into 335s and go sideways for a bit before you get another stab at this, meaning sideways, and then take that same trajectory. But for all intents and purposes, this move could have just taken a single stall. And if in fact that's what it was, then we're still on track for this 420 type area right in here. And if this is actually just, not to say it is, because I don't know that we're doing this in a larger move, but I wasn't able to point this whole thing out last week because we didn't go over Coinbase, but this is a trade I'm actually in.
And you like it? You think there's
I'm in tail end of something right now, which, depending on how tomorrow plays out, may or may not take a second. Take a second run.
Okay. I think we'll do like 5 more tickers. We'll do 5 more minutes, and then we'll end off with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we'll be done for the day. Again, Jason's Twitter, please make sure to follow him if you are not. Also his YouTube. He gives us some free game every Tuesday for about 4 hours, so deeply, deeply appreciate it.
Free game every Tuesday. All right, so Broadcom. AVGO. If I like SMCI, I guess I'm supposed to like Broadcom. This one, post earnings, I'm taking over. Sorry, guys. I didn't even wait for them. But this guy, post earnings, we do the same kind of thing. So earnings, what do you call this? Peg, power earnings gap, right? Boom, moves up. You get this like picture perfect, we call like technical pullback to the penny today. I was a little frustrated with myself because I had this outlined. I had the contracts picked out, again, option trader, and I hesitated just like a couple minutes till, I don't even know, maybe I had to go to the bathroom or something, but like, hopefully some of my guys got it. But I had this lined up to the penny to snipe it, like right there at the close. By the time, or midday, by the time I look back, these things were like actually doubled already. But that's okay, because what I needed to see was a confirmation close over 336. And in fact, I actually got that. So tomorrow, this is actually going to possibly be a follow through. This whole pullback zone was what we would call like the golden pocket zone, like golden pullback of that earnings gap. And if we're going to be bullish semis in general, I don't see how Michael's coming on. I like Michael Dell. This looks like a pretty solid setup for a next run, which means that the next move is just over 350. This is the path that I kind of set out for my crew. Possibly in very short order, like next week, into that 355, doing that same kind of thing. 350 is where the bears, anybody shorting Broadcom, will start to give up. And I have pretty much clearance into that area. And if we get through 356, well, there's another stent. And if this becomes, if in fact it actually can break through that entire earnings gap, it has to break through. If it doesn't, it goes on a hold for like 45 days. But if it does make a new high through, which usually it will try, and this looks like it's going to set up to at least try. If it can, this is set up for 400s. I don't know what that market cap is if that happens, but and I don't know where earnings is, but I know earnings season is coming. It's not a bad setup.
Okay.
Like just mid-December.
App loving.
Oh, did you sell it or are you holding?
I sold it.
Weekends, dude. Weekends. What if that
Dude,
was?
I needed to recover my freaking Chiefs loss, bro.
Dude, I told you just have to wait till Thursday. We got something for you.
Dude, you're gonna turn me into a gambler, bro.
It's not like. Did you? Okay, first of all, we're not. Did you? There was a whole thesis behind the trade. The sports bet. It was like the same things. Technical analysis. Use it. The sports bets. We give you the overview. We give you the why. We give you the logic, the reasoning.
No, it's legit. It really felt like
it was like a whole thing.
It felt like there was a legit strategy. Really
There's a strategy. It's not gamble. Anyways, sorry. We do have legit strategies in sports betting. It's wild, albeit sports betting has more gambling to it because they like to root for their fans. Why are my things not showing up here? Come on, I'm on the clock ticker. Do they not realize?
You have to restart that one.
Okay. So wait.
This is a good recovery today. It was not a full
Yeah.
recovery, but it was pretty damn deep. I mean, 9% is not bad.
It's probably Kramer. I think I heard him say this morning, buy app loving. I'm like, whoa.
Did he say that? Okay.
Yeah, but it's probably because he was listening to your stream too. So there's that. But so it's stopped at the 20-day simple. I'm looking for the weekly. Thursday. Yeah, I don't know why this isn't showing up. Week. Okay, so there, if it can hold over, what is that, 619?
Yeah.
It's constructive. If it can hold over 619, right there, it's constructive. We shall see, which means that in between now and then, you could get a little dip and bounce 595 like this, but you have to close like that the week over 619, weekly close. Remember, this has like a $60 average daily range or something insane.
Okay. Last three. Guys, CleanSpark's going to be the same as Cypher and IREN. It's just vertical Bitcoin miners that pivoted. So I don't think there's anything too crazy there. Here's one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's the same thing, right?
Well, it hasn't broken out, but it's well on its way. Yeah, that's on its way.
SFM, Sprout Farmers Market. Any thoughts on this one?
Ooh. Well, I stopped going to Sprouts I like Nob Hill. If you guys have Nob Hills around, oh wow. And you can tell on the charts that many of us Sprouts shoppers seem to have migrated to Nob Hill. Actually. Ouch. Are you a Nob Hill guy, or
I don't even know.
You know grocery outlet, huh?
There's a local grocery store nearby. It's like so diverse. It's also so organic. Like it's just a ton of different stuff that's there.
Sprouts is cool. I mean, it's a grocery store. I mean, they were flying high for a real long time. I'm not really sure why.
Does this chart look ugly enough to avoid, or?
Yeah. Okay. I can't imagine that their margins are so insane that they justify whatever's happening here. But I don't know what happened there aside from maybe eggflation. I don't know. I don't honestly. I get most of my stuff delivered now, so I've been lazy. That's true. Which is like Whole Foods is delivery.
Okay.
This is a deep cut. I'm not really sure. That's $100 psychological level. It's been a crazy outperformer for a long time. I don't know if it's just outgrown itself, but at the end of the day, it's a grocery store, so I'm not really like jumping into that either.
Okay. Last two, RR, Rich Tech Robotics. Any thoughts on this one?
Never heard of this one. Bro, what do you do?
Okay, so let me just say something. I think this is the technical Tuesday where we've had the most amount of penny stocks in the chat.
Is it because I did air?
No, it's not that. That are also going vertical. I actually am a little scared of that. Does anyone else feel that there's tons of new tickers in the chart in the chat? A lot of these have gone vertical, and the only reason people know about them is because there's so much, bull market sentiment around it. And they might be great companies, but it's also like we have not seen that for the past couple of months on Technical Tuesday.
Yeah, this is wild.
Random names. There's freaking OTC names that are spamming the chat. It's like what? Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't like seeing that, to be fair. That's a little too much.
Also, like, it doesn't look like some of these are, well, in the last week, they've gone like vertical. Let me see. What is the ETF for? So it's not IWM. What's the small cap ETF? Someone in the chat know it?
Small caps? What do you mean?
On Solo. There's a small cap ETF.
It's IWM.
No. Smaller than that.
NVR? Is that it?
Stop it. No, that's my stock.
Dude, what other small cap ETF are you talking about?
No, smaller than Russell. Micro cap. TZA?
No, that's leveraged IWM, I think. Micro cap ETF. Oh, hold on. It's IWC.
That sounds right. Yeah. Okay. So that thing,
dude, that shit is up 50% in the past 6 months. Well, that explains all the excitement around microcaps, right?
Yeah, that's a definite breakout, no doubt.
And again, I am not against microcaps at all. I'm just saying when everyone's excited about really small, tiny companies, it's because there's a lot of general excitement around the broader markets.
It's like rotational though, right? Like it's right
but
there.
Who rotates into sub-billion-dollar companies, bro? Like that's excitement. That's not strategic rotation.
No,
Who's selling NVIDIA to go buy some OTC name?
people, people have this weird thing too, where, how people want this weird thing, like people want to buy, they don't like to buy expensive stocks. They like to buy stocks that are cheap dollars.
Yes.
Like cheap, small dollar stocks, which doesn't, especially in the beginning, it's like, it's a hard thing to maybe realize, and to me and you, it might not, to me and you, it's like, does not compute, right? Like, because we're looking at like, it's not about that. It's about like the market cap, and doesn't matter how cheap or not cheap your
part of the reason people buy Grab is $5-6, not even knowing that there's a $25 billion company, right?
Yeah. But because people like to see a lot of shares, right? And maybe that's part of a lure towards options at some point. But yeah, I think it could be good for the market in general to see more like interest, but yeah, it's a little toppy at some point.
I don't even want to say this. I'm not even claiming this is a top. I'm just saying we've never seen, I've never seen, even in my market open, these many new random tickers get thrown in there.
Well, it's just, if it's when you go to the barber and he starts asking you about, or she starts asking you about stocks, that's the signal. Yeah. Right.
The good thing is, even if those companies go to zero, I don't think that messes up, the state of the markets, but it does show there's more excitement. Okay. So Rich Tech Robotics.
Well, I did get asked, you do get asked about HOOD a lot too, though.
Yes.
Which is kind of, I guess if we're going to use that barometer.
That is also true. Yeah. Okay. RR, what do you think about that one?
I mean, it's a hard call. Put me on the spot. I mean, all I can say is, has it gone? Usually these guys, you don't. So the rule, I got to make sure that we're not getting, it's $1 billion. So I think it's okay. The first rule that you usually learn about penny stocks is that you don't sleep with them overnight, usually. And if they lose momentum, you run and hide. So far, it's like, it's kind of topping out, but momentum's still there. So it's gotta hold at least 665 minimum. 7.5 would be next, and then possibly 850 if it really continues on. But 665 for a trading perspective, without knowing anything about this, it's got to hold that to keep this current trajectory. That's what I can say. Other than that, a basic pullback, if it started today, would be about 5. Yeah, $5.
All right.
The only penny stocks I do have legs and decent business.
Okay, last one, and then we'll do Bitcoin and Ethereum to wrap it up. Do you have a play of the week, or was that Unity for you?
No, Unity. I think it's more thematic. I saw a lot of retail kind of pulling back. I've liked this one for a while. I actually dipped my toes in this. I think like a lot of retail got hammered today. I don't know what happened in this, so I'd have to investigate later today. But we're ramping up into the holiday season, and I just kind of outlined Coinbase while you were gone, how the Coinbase trade started. But if I were to leave the show with anything this week, is to kind of just look at this type of setup. We have this big consolidation. It looks like something's going to break out, and then you get a giant pullback, a frustrating pullback, almost like MSTR. And it might be a very long-term one, similar to this. Big move, frustrating pullback. And then, but right into a very important area. I think these are the setups at the moment that could lead into a Q4 type run. We'll see. I think there's a lot of watches on deck at the moment. Broadcom would have been one. Netflix would be another. Unity. Netflix is probably the most recent, but that's live. As in, like, I'm already up like double, so you'd have to wait. And UNH, I think, is hot. So I would say UNH if I were to pick something, if that rotation still goes. And I clearly am missing this boat on Celsius. So if the rotation is live and well, I need to take a hard look at Celsius tomorrow. UNH, I did open at the close. I think those look good for a quick trade, but to be honest, I'm not the quick trades right now. I think there are bigger setups brewing under the surface that might be more worth the while than a quick buck here or there, because there are bigger things afoot. Near term or longer term that I don't want to get lost in the day-to-day of trading. There's a lot bigger money to be made right now. RKT, I like. Yeah. Although RKT owns, I like, but who did they own? They own somebody that got hit, not hit, but like there was a Zillow thing. Redfin. So I didn't realize that Rocket owned part of Redfin. But we do like the mortgage thing. This is another one where I was like, all right, this might be interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's posturing right now, actually, for this next bigger move. I saw someone ask about UPS. No, I'm not doing UPS. I think that UPS has got I think that's just, it's kind of boring sector. It'll probably be like, I'm not interested here. Unions are going to take a long time. Robotics, sure, but that's probably a tug of war that might take another year for this thing to get off the ground.
All right. I guess Bitcoin and ETH. Let's end it up with that.
Oh, Biddy. So, yeah. So these two. Okay. Hang on.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are asking if Bitcoin gets to 200 by the end of the year. I don't know if I see that. I find it hard to see that, but it's possible. By the way, real quick, we do have some other news on Elon being reported. Elon is raising $20 billion for XAI, and NVIDIA is one of the big equity investors in this new deal.
Elon.
I mean, maybe NVIDIA and Elon are doing an OpenAI type of deal. It's not confirmed yet, but if that's the case, then this would be the third of these strategic investments that we've seen in the past 2 weeks. NVIDIA and OpenAI, NVIDIA and Elon, and potentially, and then AMD and OpenAI as well.
So I like Bitcoin, but I think at this point, this is where I was just checking the Bitcoin to Ethereum pair. I think this is where Ethereum will start to overtake Biddy on this pullback. So to me, this is a basic pullback. Possibly to like 118s. That would be pretty basic. As in something like that. And just retesting this entire kind of prior breakout area. That's about 117. That's very standard. what I don't want to see is this and then go sideways for too long. Because if that happens and this doesn't just bounce, then we kind of set up for another bigger Icaramba or Bart Simpson, which I don't think is really going to happen, but it's always possible. So just a heads up. In terms of Ethereum, it's a similar kind of thought, but we're literally right here. And this pullback is a bit more shallow. This was that last breakout or breakdown area. So here now, these are probably going to be like really weak fibs, but my guess is 3/8. These crypto people use these like super shallow fibs all the time. I don't know. My guess is that it's gonna not. I'm not really gonna. You'd want it to get saved like literally right in here. Not really gonna use that. So like right here in this little last order block. If it doesn't, this last push was pretty high. If it doesn't, then I think it does come back to that 42. And we just kind of take that one and then do that. But again, it's the same kind of deal where I don't want to see a long consolidation in this area. Because if I consolidate too long, especially in crypto, after a run like this, what happens is they just get impatient. And if they get too impatient, well, if they get too impatient, there's a lot of futures that are trading in crypto, and it's possible that we get bigger pullbacks. And I have to lean on the treasuries to hop back in. And if that's the case, well, then I might not have caught the last bottom, but hopefully we did. And if not, okay, cool. 42 is still in the cards, but
I'd like to see that'd be a great reloading zone. 42.
42. Well, I think we got it already. The 38.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we got it already. I don't want to see it go much deeper. So if you miss the 42, if you miss the 38, well, I don't know what. Do you think they missed it? I mean, we outlined it pretty clear.
No, I think people. If people didn't buy ETH, I think a lot of people bought BMNR at 3,800.
Yeah, if they missed it, then you had all this time to get it. I don't know,
because that was BMNR was.
We did a good job. But basically, I guess you might have another opportunity here.
Yeah,
at worst case, but yeah, I wouldn't right here. I don't think is a good risk reward.
No, yeah. I agree. I think BMNR 50, ETH 4,100 is the play. ETH 3,800, BMNR 4,700, which was 2 weeks ago, is the better play if that happens.
100%. Yeah. And then the consolidation continues, and it's all in real preparation for, like, as I joke, but the eating season, right? Like the Q4 to Q1 kind of run up is what you're looking for. The crypto Uptober, Moonvember, whatever you want to call it, is the crypto winter is actually summer and vice versa, whatever. But if the seasonality plays out, but I don't think it has so much to do with typical seasonality. It's the DATs. That's what's different this time. It's just the DATs that's a different dynamic that didn't exist before. You didn't have to be that's the one piece that has changed in the space and really just makes all the difference. It's not the technology. None of that's actually changed. It's just the fact that there's a whole nother cohort of people accumulating and not selling. And I would love to say, hey, look, like Tom Lee's staking his ETH, but he's not. But it doesn't matter from that regards, because if he was staking it, like, he'd be actually creating more, which is kind of cool that he's, I guess you don't have to be worried that he's not staking it. He's still locking it up because we know he's not selling it.
Yeah.
So there is that. So I'm not worried about that. But the sheer fact that the treasury companies are popping up and they're still buying, that's a new dynamic, regardless of stable coins or any of that didn't exist in the past. So
I agree. Makes sense.
Appreciate you. You want a blue
Jason?
flame? I'm asking for a blue flame. I have different colors. Blue.
Do you have? Oh, you have. Dude, I need to get one of those. I need to do it. All right, Jason. Thank you. There's his Twitter right there and YouTube. Again, you can check out his Discord and his links on X. His YouTube right there in the chat. And I think the flow was really good, dude. I think we've been trying to work on getting the flow better. I think if you guys liked it, let's put a W in the chat or anything to let us know. But I think 5 minutes per ticker. We got through, on my estimate, almost 50 tickers. So a lot of tickers, which is pretty good. And it was smooth. I also think 5 minutes is good in it because you're able to get out everything you need to say in 5 minutes, And
yeah, we gave the tangents to a mostly minimum. Yeah. Maybe I can get a tangent timestamp. Jason tangent timestamp.
But even me, I go on a tangent, and given I see the timer, I try to keep my tangents to like 20 seconds, 30 seconds to give you the rest of it. So I think it makes sense.
Cool.
All right, people liked it.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you. I'm so happy that this stuff is actually, I mean, dude, some of these games, dude, I think
wild. It's pretty. People have had
life-changing moments for so many people. So I'm proud of everybody that's learning stuff, taking the time to watch like a review or whatever, but like invest in yourself to learn some of this stuff. Look, it's a big deal. But watching Amit to learn investing, watching me to learn a bit of trading, and dude, when you combine the two things together, these are the things that you can do. Like some really, really amazing things become possible. So that's what it's all about.
Also, given you stare at candles every day, I would suggest, do you know where I'm going with this?
No.
You stare at candles every day, right?
I mean, I try not to. No, I try not to a lot more.
Literally for a living, you look at candles all day. Sure. Okay. So then I think you need to become a candle guy, bro. These vanilla flurry.
Dude.
My apartment smells fantastic, dude.
Bro.
I'm just saying, like,
listen, guy, right? I have
amazing. Like bro, I smell it and I feel happy. Like,
what scent is that?
Vanilla flurries.
Oh my god.
Like, genuinely, bro.
You like the sweet candles? I'll send you some
It's amazing, bro. It's incredible.
You're a sweet scent guy?
I'm a sweet guy, yeah. I like the vanilla.
I mean, I might need to send you some like dude scented candles or something.
I got a couple of. I gotta check the other flavors. They're in my car.
There's a Twilight one I might send you,
bro. I'm not a big pumpkin guy.
That I know some candle scents. Thank you very much.
No, it does. No, so I'm saying you need to be a candle guy, dude. You literally spend all day with candles.
Listen, I have a 1.5-year-old, almost 2-year-old, who has become like he's all over the place now.
Bro, he's so cute.
Dude, can you show them the video that I sent you of this guy? Yeah. He picks up like, I don't know what it was, but he starts playing it like a flute or something. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I was like, Jason, why are you, as an Asian parent, forcing your kid to play music so young, bro? You guys always get them into music.
Dude, this kid is amazing though. He's so funny.
What is this? That's disgusting. What is that?
That's my boy.
What are you doing? Is this the new instrument?
Oh God.
Bro, he wants to get a clarinet. You gotta get him into music class.
I don't know what. Like he's just like some little plastic. It's like a cable run. If you know what that is.
I'm putting my kid into piano lessons as soon as I can, bro. Because I wanted to be a music superstar and I couldn't do it. So that kid's gonna turn into freaking Mozart one day. But no, in general, learning music when you're young is actually really like helpful. But
yeah,
you got to have a little bit of talent, so you got to see.
I mean, he was going to town on that thing, so. I mean,
all right,
all right, guys. Appreciate you all. It's been real. It's been fun. But
thank you, Jason. Appreciate you.
Until the next one. Adios. See ya.
My kid's gonna get trading lessons starting at 5. Yeah, that too. That as well. All right, guys, I am out of here. Let me just say this now. I'll say it again tomorrow because I know a lot of people will ask. But Thursday, there will be no market open because I'm getting a root canal on Thursday. I was going to get it next week, but honestly, the pain in my teeth or like the one tooth I need the root canal on it's been bad over the past 2 days. I've been taking antibiotics to get rid of it. It's not, my cheek's not as puffy as you saw on Sunday, but yeah, so Thursday I won't be here for the market open. I really tried to do it on a day. I tried to do it on a Saturday so I wouldn't miss any shows. But and I had it in a couple weeks, but I'm like, dude, if I don't do this right now, like I'm just gonna continue to be in pain. So I tried to book it after the open. The only day they had was 8 a.m. on Thursday. Probably no. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if we were able to do a close on Thursday. But like I already booked it a week ago for like a couple weeks out. And I was like, I'll be able to manage it because the pain was gone. And I had already took some antibiotics a while ago. So I'm like, I can manage it another couple weeks. But I can't. I need to get this freaking root canal because otherwise this shit's just going to continue to have pain. So Thursday, I'll be gone. But we'll be back on Friday. Can Steve fill in for you? I wish, bro. I wish Steve could do it. He's going to be busy with his regular job. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I mean, dude, even today on the close, bro, it was hurting, but thankfully it's starting to come back down. And so I'm happy they even have an opening on Thursday because at this point it's just going to continue creating some pain. However, the big news after the bell right here, he's acting like he's going in for a heart surgery. No, but I'm annoyed that I'm missing the freaking, like I tried to schedule it on a day that I wouldn't have to miss any shows, but there's just no way. Or I wanted to schedule it like at 7 p.m. or something, like hours after the close, but they just don't have anything open for that. This thing is a little weird, guys. I'm gonna dig into this tonight, but based on some details on this NVIDIA stuff with XAI, it looks like it's debt to navigate this versus NVIDIA's free cash flow. Or XAI's free cash flow. Let me pull up this article right here to confirm it right now. Yeah, take a look at this. These are some stats right here, which is $2 billion NVIDIA's investing into the round, but the $2 billion is an SPV used to buy NVIDIA GPUs for Colossus 2. So NVIDIA's putting $2 billion into XAI, but XAI is giving the $2 billion back to buy GPUs. And the majority of this funding is not VCs that are pumping new equity, it's debt. So this is the second yeah, it's one of those creative deals. This is the second debt deal we've seen. The first one was Oracle when they raised debt $13 billion via their corporate bonds. The second one is XAI. AMD and OpenAI was pure equity, which was creative to say the least, but at least it wasn't debt. And then OpenAI and NVIDIA was also equity. It looks like XAI does not have the leverage that OpenAI had to kind of just get a $100 billion investment from NVIDIA. It looks like they're going the debt route. So we'll get more details on that tomorrow. But I mean, look, if there's an ROI on all this, I think at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. But you definitely don't have XAI revenues that are funding this, because XAI probably is not making as much as an OpenAI yet. But they will be building out more and more data centers. So that's what you got. Well, that's what you got for XAI and NVIDIA. All right, I'm out. I have to go pee again. The reason I'm peeing so much is because I started drinking a lot more water, just because I'm trying to make a conscious attempt to drink more water. But I didn't realize that means you can't go 4 hours on a live stream without peeing. So yeah, look at this. I have 2 bottles. One of them just fell, but I have literally 2. I have another 2 bottles outside that they're like, I drank 4 bottles of water today, which is good, right? You're supposed to drink more water. But like in my career path, yeah, I need to wear a diaper or something, bro. Can't just leave and go and use the bathroom when you're drinking that much water. So we'll figure it out. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Hopefully everyone enjoyed TT. I think the flow was a lot better. Me and Jason have been working on it, and I think the timer really does help. And so we'll try to keep it for the next Technical Tuesdays as well. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Market Open. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.